Hello, everybody. I think we're here. All right. Okay. Here we go. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Tuesday show. I'm James Chen.
Hey, I'm Ultra David. How's everybody going?
Nice.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Well done. All right. Hang on a second here. Yes, as you can see, David is local. I just want to make sure everyone... Oops. Now everybody is seeing not David's face. There we go. I'm trying to make sure that I have everything set up. I'm screen capturing. As you can see, David is remote today. He is not local.
My car couldn't start. I assume it's the battery, so probably not that big of a deal. But yeah, I got into the car, was all ready to go. No, I was gonna say on time. Honestly, maybe a little late, to be honest. But you know what? It didn't start anyway, so it ends up not.
All right.
So, yeah, I'll call AAA after the show.
Shout outs to Wheat Lab for the subscription. All right. So, interesting past couple of weeks. We didn't get to stream last week because I was traveling, which I'll talk about later on at the end of the show. But yeah, it's been quite a couple of weeks since our last show.
A lot of stuff went down, and to the point where I was thinking about, as I knew you were out of town, thinking about addressing some of the stuff because, you know, honestly, there's very important news that happened last week. We'll talk about that soon. Hopefully it's up here. We're going to talk about the fact that some players and community members are now banned from quite a few tournaments. We'll talk about the discussions of maybe banning characters. We'll talk about a bunch of tournament results because it's been a couple of weeks. There's other news as well, a bunch of stuff to get to. But, yeah, let's begin with talking about the bans.
Yeah, so obviously in the last couple of weeks, there have been... it's been kind of an interesting couple of weeks. So last show, we talked about some of the things that came about thanks to the EVO after party. And, you know, people talking about a lot of, you know... there was sexual assault. There was a lot of people getting drugged, you know, roofied and stuff like that at the after party and stuff. And then it seemed to almost kind of open up this weird floodgates now where a lot of people have been talking about community members that have been harassing people and you know, and a lot of new news has come out because of that. And as a result, two community members in particular have been banned essentially from all the events at our for our community, which of course are Chris Bond and Guilty. So I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I want to get into the nitty-gritty details of what the allegations are, but in short, both Guilty and Chris Bond were accused of and also admitted to you know, inappropriate physical contact with women at events. Both recently, allegations of both at EVO, and going back quite a ways. So, you know, that's obviously very disturbing to hear. They have been around for a long time. I've known Chris, you know, probably 15 years, going back to SRK and IRC and. Boy,
he used to play like he was like a Super Turbo guy like way back in the day as well. So
very, very old school guy. And Leia I've known since probably 2012 or 2011. It's been quite a while on that side as well.
Yeah, actually, some people are saying that there's a little bit of an echo, and that's because they're hearing you direct capture, and then they're also hearing you through my speakers. Because my speaker's into the mic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the headphones back on so I hear you here, and I'm going to just turn off my speakers. So go ahead and keep talking, David.
Okay, sure. So those are the allegations. That's what happened there. You know, so as a result, Guilty was explicitly banned by Capcom from Capcom Pro Tour events and from Street Fighter League, and Chris Bond was banned by name by a couple of big tournaments, and then other big tournaments put out statements that were not, you know, naming either of those parties, but that were like, you know, we've heard about disturbing allegations. We're banning parties. We're not going to allow this kind of stuff at our events. They put out statements without saying names that were obviously talking about them that
Right.
they're banned.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I mean, that's kind of I say unfortunately just because it sucks to hear this kind of thing happening in our community at all. But in a way, maybe this is not necessarily a bad thing, because obviously a lot of these accusations are stemming back for a few years now, right? This has been going on for a long period of time with a couple of these allegations, supposedly. And if that's the case, that means this is not just a recent thing. This is not just like, oh my gosh, what's happening to the FGC? Why are we so terrible? If this is something that's been going on for years and years and people just haven't been saying it, it's kind of reminding me of the Hollywood movement after Weinstein was kind of outed and it started the whole Me Too thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Wow.
But like...
Oh, man. Okay.
But, in essence, if this is kind of a means by which we can start calling people out... You know what? You talk for a second, David.
Yeah, I think where you're going with this is that while it feels really bad to know that people who, you have been cool with for a long time have been doing this stuff, that's not the most important emotion, okay? The most important, I think, takeaway is that this is a way to clean up the FGC and make it safer and better. And in the moment, it hurts. I mean, my initial reaction on the day that these things broke out was, I was very upset.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I was upset on the one hand for the women who were saying that this had happened to them, right? Mm-hmm. It's very upsetting. I was also upset. There was a feeling of almost like a betrayal of somebody who I thought was cool and on the right side of things, and just they're not, it turns out.
Right.
And that the difference between what I thought I knew and what actually the reality was very difficult to deal with for me. Very difficult.
Right.
So it was, that was a really hard day. But the important takeaway after that initial sort of feeling, the important takeaway is the knowledge that, hopefully women in the FGC will be safer.
Yeah.
At events. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll be able to go to events without being worried about inappropriate touching, at least as much. I mean,
right.
Presumably we haven't found everybody who is engaged in this stuff, but to clean it up a little bit, and hopefully to serve as a warning to people who may be doing this stuff that it's not to be done. Right.
And again, this hopefully will also make it so that because one of the hardest things, what a lot of people don't realize, from obviously it's hard for us to speak to this. We're dudes and everything like that, but from the standpoint of the victims, a lot of times they're afraid to come out and say anything because they are the ones that end up suffering the most because they get harassed, they get chased off the internet. They get painted as crazy or liars or, this kind of stuff. They get dragged through the mud. And a lot of times the people that you are accusing are popular people, right? We'll get into this a little bit more because there's obviously more cases that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But, it's this kind of situation. And so women are scared to come out and say anything, right? Because a lot of times they get more harassed. They get chased off of, any sort of public kind of standpoint. And it's almost more dangerous for the women to come out with this kind of information than it is, for them to report it. It's kind of crazy. And as a result, a lot of it does go unreported. A lot of situations where stuff has happened, but they can't say anything. Hopefully this showing that the players do get banned, etc., that the overall FGC is working hard to make this right, is a sign that allows them to have a little bit more strength and courage and encouragement to come out and speak out against the people who have, sexually assaulted them, or even just, any sort of inappropriate behavior in our community.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, it's something that needs to be taken care of. And it's just something that's been going on forever. The day that I found out about this stuff, I went back and watched our 5th episode ever on the UltraChen Tuesday show. We hadn't even started calling it the Tuesday show officially yet. Mm-hmm. It was the episode where we invited 4 women on, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was in 2012. It was our 5th episode ever. And the whole point of it was we knew that there was a big problem. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to talk about it. We wanted to, mostly to let them talk about it, honestly. And they did, and they made a lot of points that still need to be made. That stuff has not gotten through as much as it should have. I mean, our show wasn't going to do the whole thing, obviously, but in the intervening 7 years, you would hope that it would have taken root a little bit better. And while I think that it has to some degree, a lot of stuff that they were saying is just exactly what still happens. And that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad that still exists in a way that has not been substantially changed.
Yeah, and that's why that's kind of the silver lining, I guess, I'm trying to look in this whole situation, is that maybe this will start kind of a domino effect that, people will be more willing to call out, and, and also not only that, but believed as well. You know what I mean? That's kind of the situation, is a lot of the times, you just end up with a situation where everyone makes excuses in, like I said, the whole painting somebody as crazy, or insane is usually not something that I really stand behind very well. So
yeah, very upsetting news. I don't know if you also saw. I just wanted to bring this up. There was a statement put out on Chris Bond's Twitter. It says, due to recent events, all of Chris's social media accounts will be monitored by his wife as he moves toward recovery from the trauma that all of this has caused. We ask you to refrain from condoning hatred and being a part of the mob mentality. Please have compassion for all parties involved, and let's move forward from all of this. May God bless you all. Man, I really don't like it. I'm upset about the phrasing, all the trauma that this has caused.
Yeah.
I need there to be a responsibility. One thing that I at least think that Leia has done that is what she should do. I don't know if I want to give props, but that's what you should do. Is to basically own up. Mm-hmm. She put tweets out that were like, "Look, I did the things. I don't want to give her. It's not something you give props for, but at least that happened, and that's the responsibility is not being taken by Chris. I have not heard anything from him. It's only this statement, and this statement is not. That this has caused. I mean, the passive voice. What to who? Like right. who was trauma caused to? Who did the trauma causing? There needs to be more than that. That's upsetting.
Yeah, it's not a great statement, and a lot of, honestly, social media is just not the best place for a lot of these, especially when you're limited to 280 characters, because I feel like a lot of this is just been kind of going the wrong way. Let's just talk about this because it's kind of related to it, but Flo was accused of sexual harassment at Evo as well. Now, this kind of situation, there hasn't been any bans yet. There hasn't been anything happen because Flo is denying it. And so apparently there's legal matters going on because Flo publicly on Twitter has said he can't talk about it yet, et cetera, et cetera. And so he's like he said, he'll have a statement at some point in time or other. Mm. But right now there hasn't been anything really said except for a couple of Flo's initial tweets. And already I was not happy with a lot of the things that he said because, you know, one of the first things he said was that he accused the girl of being mentally unstable. And again, I'm just not a fan of this, you know, rhetoric, this storytelling that everybody always gives whenever they're accused that the other person is crazy. Because in society, there's already this kind of painted picture that women are insane and they're irrational and they're emotional and that's a bad quality and stuff. And, you know, that's why it works so well when you're like, hey, I was accused of this, but she's crazy. And why a lot of people believe it is because there is this overarching tale and, you know, kind of stereotype. And I just think it's really unfortunate that that was kind of the picture that was painted by Flo. So it's kind of a frustrated thing. And, you know, obviously, you know, I'm going to say this and, you know I'm not trying to discount anything or, like I said, you have to believe the woman's story. You know, Flo has been a friend of ours for a long time. We've had him on our shows to discuss Soul Calibur and all these other things like that. You know, obviously it's frustrating to see this kind of situation happen. And I don't know what's going to happen at this point in time. It's hard for me to speculate on it until we get more information. But at this point in time, like I said, you know, we have to believe the women. We can't paint them as crazy. We have to believe their story. Because if we don't, we're all just feeding into this rhetoric, that this narrative that makes it hard for women to come out and actually, you know, tell their side of the story, to make these accusations. And that can't be something that continues. They have to feel like that they're empowered to report these kind of issues. You know what I mean?
You know, in general, I've been trying to excise words like crazy and insane from my vocabulary. Because I don't want to attack people with mental illnesses. It's like I kind of want to stop doing that. It's a work in progress, but that's something that I think should be worked toward just in general, even apart from this situation. You know, Flo has denied it, and I think that I'm willing to wait. Chris admitted it. Guilty admitted it. Right. Separately, infiltration was found by a court of law, right, to have engaged in abusive behavior. I don't want to make a practice of jumping on people if they think that there is a reasonable denial to be made.
Yeah.
You know, I'm willing to wait on this. So I think that Flo getting a lawyer is a good call. I think I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, you know, understanding this, but just to fully clarify, that doesn't speak to whether he is guilty or innocent.
Right.
Okay. If you have the means, you should get a lawyer in a situation like this.
Right.
That's something that you should do. And again, whether innocent, you did it or whatever, make sure that you have, if you can, somebody who can give you good legal advice or good, you know, PR advice or just whatever the situation is that you find yourself in. It's not an admission of guilt.
Right.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm stating here is I'm not saying that I believe the girl inherently, because a lot of people in the chat are talking about this. There's a lot of false accusations. Actually, I mean, the false accusations is actually a small minority, but because they stand out when it actually happens, that people tend to over-exaggerate. Because, like, you'll have 50 cases of actual factual, like, accusations, truthful accusations, and if you have one false accusation, that's what everybody's going to go to be like, well, there was this one, and this obviously, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying Flo was guilty one way or the other. It's just that I don't want to all of a sudden just go and attacking this girl for being crazy or whatever. I don't believe one way or the other until we figure out what's going on.
Right.
I just think that even if it turns out that her accusation is false, right? I don't want it to be proof that everybody is innocent. I don't want it to be an excuse to attack the girl. I don't want it to be a reason for people to say that she's crazy or that women are crazy. You know, it's
I don't want it to be generalized.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
I definitely agree with you on that. It's true that false accusations are a very small minority of cases, but like I said, we'll see. I don't want to generalize. It's something I try not to do in general, and in this case, I think it's very important to not do. Like I said, the thing that sealed my feelings on Guilty, Crispon, Infill, that kind of stuff, is that they admitted to it or were found to have done it by a court. Right. That to me is more important than the initial allegation. I mean, without discounting it, but the thing that seals it in my mind is that stuff. So, flow's not there, and I'm willing to wait on it.
Yeah, I mean,
willing to wait.
There's also one more accusation out there that I don't think has been as public about it. I've seen it on Facebook. It's definitely out there, so it's not like it's a hidden story. But there was also an accusation against former Tekken Evo champion Crow in Texas as well.
Oh, I had not heard this.
What's that?
I hadn't heard.
Oh, yeah. So this actually happened as well from another long-time girl FGC member who I've known for years. Had an accusation as well about Crow from Texas. And like I said, this one hasn't gotten as much publicity or traction, but this is definitely another one that's out there. I don't know any details on this one either. So again, I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I know that was out there. I even talked to Donka a little bit about it because obviously he's from the Texas scene as well, and it's been kind of sending shockwaves throughout their the Texas community as well. So,
yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So again, it's interesting because it's starting to cause this kind of ripple effect of people coming out and being like, well, hey, if these other people are talking about it, then maybe it's time for me to go public with my situation. And in this situation, it was something that happened years ago, that she basically saved until now. But, so I don't know what the situation is with that. I don't know what the resolution on that is. But again, all of this is coming out through some means or another. And like I said, that's an indication of how long it's been happening in the FGC. It's not that the FGC has been sunshine, rainbows, and puppies for the past few years until just this year. Now everyone sucks because we're getting bigger or whatever like that. It's been happening for years. And in fact, I don't think that there's going to be a single community of anything that you're not going to see have this been happening. This is kind of a overall grand societal problem. Now, that doesn't mean that it's okay that it's been happening in the FGC.
Oh, no. Yeah,
and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to try my best to fix the FGC because this is where I live. You know what I mean? This is my home, and I want it to be better. And if we can be an exemplary community for other people to follow that show that we can succeed while being a safer place for women and men as well, because obviously, it's not just limited to women being sexually harassed and stuff. It's just obviously more common. But if we can become a safer place for everybody, I think that's the ultimate goal, and be an example to other communities, basically.
That would be great. That's absolutely something to shoot for, and I hope that we continue to do that. I do think that we have made some strides, but man, there's a lot of stuff that still feels like it's exactly what we talked about in March of 2012.
It's crazy, right? I mean, that was 7 years ago. Man.
Yeah. I mean, they were talking about things that is just, and sometimes it's hard to tell, man. I've seen
that's right.
Bond talking about this stuff.
Before you keep going, David, there's a player who I only just met at this past Evo. She was serving as Bonchan's translator. That I saw in the ESPN room where they were filming. A member of the Japanese community who goes by the handle of Goose also came out and said that even in Japan, she was harassed by a lot of, several Japanese players out there, some top players and some, lesser known players. And she said that she hasn't named anybody yet because she's actually still in that position where I think she doesn't want to, name anybody just yet. But there was another instance of somebody coming out and saying something. Yeah, thanks for the righteous in chat reminding me about that one too. So yeah, sorry, I don't mean to say even in Japan as if that's unheard of, because in Japan it's pretty bad too. So but a lot of times people are isolating it to kind of an America thing. So when I say even, I just mean it's happening everywhere basically.
Sure.
not as it's a shock that it's happening in Japan. It's just it's happening everywhere, kind of thing.
What I was going to say is that it was especially surprising for me to find out about Chris, because he has said things on Twitter in the past and has done things in life, as far as I know, that were like steps to help women, it seemed. He was at the EVO Women of the FGC panel. He was the one taking pictures there. I mean, he was there to I mean, I'm not in his mind, right? I have no idea. But he was there taking pictures at least, and I don't know, to find out that he was one of the people involved, just that really tore me up.
Even just from the stories of the accounts that I've heard from people, it sounds like he knows it's wrong, and there's just this weird, like almost kind of addiction thing. You know what I mean? I think it is. There's something to that, right? That there's definitely some sort of, there's a lot of things that we've done, obviously, that involve our own bodies and our own selves. Like, if you smoke, you're like, whatever, I don't care. I'm killing myself. I'm hurting myself. That's not hurting anyone. That kind of thing, where you do something even though you know it's wrong. It's not the right thing to do. People who steal from things or, just, it happens a lot. And I don't want to, like you said, I don't want to jump into the psychology thing, but somehow I think it seems like he knew he was doing wrong, and I don't know if that makes it worse, but it's a frustrating thing to see, for sure. It's hard to process that,
What is this?
What do we got?
I'm reading it now.
Oh, you know what? I think I saw this one too.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, so there's another one.
A woman named Roy's Voivoda.
Yeah, calling out somebody in the European FGC.
Right. In London for EGX. There you go. Well, I guess it's, I have to read this later. It's, that's very sad to hear.
Yeah, I did see that one as well, and it's frustrating to me that I forgot about this one, because at some point in time it does start to feel normalized and desensitized. You know what I mean? It starts to feel like, oh, here's another one you read and then you just forget, and like that's on me. Like, I feel like that's a weakness on my part here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel ashamed that I didn't even remember this one until someone posted this, and I probably wouldn't have remembered at all during the show, even though I read it. It's just, because it's such a normalized thing now that it's just happening so often that you just kind of forget about it. And I'm actually feeling kind of ashamed right now that I totally even forgot about this.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm sorry. I hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, so.
Yeah, all right. Well, as you said, I mean, these are not the first times that it's happened.
It's not going to be the last.
I hope that it won't in the future, but I'm sure it won't be.
Yeah, it's not going to be the last. But the goal is to craft an environment where women are more likely to come out, even if it is against a top player, and not have it so that people immediately attack her, dox her, harass her, or whatever, that kind of situation. And in the same vein as well, with the Chris Bond thing, it's and especially with the guilty thing. One of the worst side effects of the guilty thing is that people have been using it as an excuse to attack trans people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the worst, right? Because now you just see hateful people misgendering guilty on purpose, and just being overall just, again, as with any group, you can't judge the whole group by one person, right? So it's a frustrating situation to see people attacking the trans community for what Guilty has done. Guilty being trans doesn't make her, representative of her entire community.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, anything else to say about this?
Not that I can think of. So yeah, we can move on to some other stuff if you want.
well, we're not moving too far off. So, with this stuff in mind, Crackpron, who's in the chat here, put out on Twitter a chat of some players in, I think it's supposed to be an old school chat, and I don't know if that's accurate, but
well, hang on a second, David. Shout outs to Guest Paragod for the 5 gift subs here. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Wow.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. We can't talk about less depressing things yet. I mean, we have to talk about this as well. But I mean, I thank you for the gifts. That's really great.
Yeah.
We gotta cover all the stuff. You know how it is. But thank you very much. Anyway, so Mikey put this out of a chat, and whatever. There was some kind of ignorance going on in that chat, I felt. When that happened, Chris T had a tweet in response that said, he won't ever show up in real life, though. He won't ever show up in real life, though. He knows what'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
After this, people were calling for a ban on Chris. They were calling for, or at least a consideration of that, considering it a veiled threat, right, essentially, and that should be something that we should tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about this?
I mean, I feel like a lot of this really is, I mean, again, I can go on and on and on and on about this whole entire topic because I've had conversations about this on Facebook with other members of the FGC, talking about this concept of toxic masculinity. And is toxic masculinity a real thing? Blah, blah, blah. And the hardest thing about toxic masculinity, in my opinion, right now, is that nobody understands what toxic masculinity is. People interpret toxic masculinity as guys being toxic, and that's absolutely not what it is through any way, shape, or form. Toxic masculinity is this whole concept perpetrated by men and women and every gender, in between, that men have to be masculine, right? That you can't be emotional, that you can't be, that, having feminine traits is weak, etc., etc. That's what toxic masculinity is. And the reason why I bring this up is because the thing that came out in the chat was, there's a Facebook chat, if people are wondering what it is. There's just a Facebook group chat out there that exists where these guys are talking. They started talking about how women can't be good at fighting games, etc., etc. That kind of feeds into the toxic masculinity. But then, on top of that, is the toxic masculinity that I really do believe that, Chris T kind of prescribes to a little bit. And there's a lot of the, call out culture, like, bro, you won't show up in person. He's using a lot of feminine insults, like calling him, equated to female, reproductive parts, essentially, calling names like that, because that's meant to demean people and stuff. Yeah. There's a very strong, that's the toxic masculinity culture right there, that it's all about being this tough guy, and like, if you're even related to a woman, you're weak kind of thing. And I feel like that's kind of a problem, and I feel like that's also something that we need to kind of excise from the community. Now, Chris and Brent claim that that's not what their tweets meant, that they weren't going to try to get physical with Crackprawn, but I mean, what happens when he shows up. It's just not a good look. So
yeah.
I don't know, like, I think there's been signs that they've done stuff like this in the past, that they've actually physically threatened people. I'm not sure. So I don't know if it's, I don't know. That's what I've heard people say. But if this is the first instance of it, then maybe not necessarily they need to be banned now, but be warned. And then maybe they can fix it and change it a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. So
yeah, I mean, if it has happened many times in the past, then yeah, that's a different story than if it has not. Mm-hmm. I guess that is to say, like, physical altercations in the FGC. I don't want that, of course. So if that has happened, then yeah, I would support them, having some kind of, ban or suspension or something, but I guess otherwise not. You know, I certainly want to make the FGC a safer place. It was not always that way, and while things that happened in the arcade back in the day are definitely, you know, we lionize it too much as having been like a rough place, right? I mean, seriously, like it did happen, right? I mean, many of us have stories of, oh, one time the guy had a knife or whatever. Like that was bad. The point of those stories is that it was bad, right? It's not good. It didn't happen that often, but when it happened, it was bad. I don't want that stuff anymore.
Right.
That's the point. And so, you know, if we can avoid that, that would be great. There also used to be many instances of people threatening each other on SRK, on IRC. It was all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, in those instances,
I don't think so.
Nobody ever really had any opportunity to see each other. So back in the day of IRC and SRK, that was 100% posturing because nobody traveled, right? Like you literally never saw these people, so you could always puff up your feathers and everything like that. Nowadays, we see each other all the time, so I think the threats take on a different tone, you know?
That could be. Yeah. That was not always random internet people, man. Actually,
yeah,
it was full of it, right?
The MVC2 scene. Oh my god! We were talking to Yipes about it this weekend, and Yipes was telling us all these old stories about, you know, the old MVC2 East Coast West Coast dramas and stuff like that. So
we're gonna go play Street Fighter 4 in the parking lot, right? One of the all-time classic lines from SRK.
Yep.
And yeah. Anyway, that stuff's bad. I don't want it.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we've done in the past is we've glorified the arcade culture, right? Like, hey, we grew up in the fire and the flames, and that's how come we're so good and we're so tough now and everything. You know, like, everyone's like, oh, you know, we're getting soft and blah, blah, blah. Why do we have to be so delicate and whatever? No, it's not about being soft. It's not about being delicate. And yeah, I grew up in that environment too. I didn't like it. You know, oftentimes I didn't go to a lot of events because I just didn't want to deal with that kind of situation, right? Having grown up in it, I can tell you it sucks. It's not something fun to grow up in, and I'd rather have our community be welcoming. Now, that's not to say I don't want pop-offs, I don't want shit-talking and stuff like that. Like, that stuff has to stay. I want it to stay. I just keep it in-game, you know what I mean? Because the story that I always tell about the arcades, no matter what, is 30 people in line trying to knock Vi off of CVS2 and all of us losing and all of us just like cursing him out under our breaths, like fucking Vi, like God, you know, like hating him and just wanting to destroy him. And then after the arcade closes, we all go to Denny's and Norm's actually for Southern Hills Golfland, and Vi is there, and Vi is literally just talking and joking, and we're all friends all of a sudden, right? So no matter how kind of like antagonistic the arcade culture was, we were all friends not all, obviously there's situations, but the lasting memory to me is that, you know, those Norms dinners were some of my favorite memories out of all the fighting game stuff that we've done in the past from the arcade culture. You are forced to be face to face with these people, so even though you may hate them in the game, you realize they're people, and so you hang out with them, and you know, it's kind of fun in a way. So
I agree with you. Well, we'll see what happens on that front, I guess.
Yeah. Jaha throwing people into the pool. Oh my god. That definitely happened a lot at Southern Hills Golfland, so
it may be that nothing will happen on that front. Yeah, that seems plausible.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. And you know, I do kind of want to address this a little bit. You did mention it a little bit, but Michael Martin had a tweet that kind of came out a little bit about, like, you know, behavior and stuff like that. And a lot of people started yelling him about that, about the Chris T thing. I don't know, from my perspective, I'm pretty sure Michael Martin was trying to get ahead of the Guilty situation. I don't think that tweet had anything to do with Chris T. I think it was trying to get ahead of the Guilty situation. It was just really, really poor timing on his part. So a lot of people took him to task for that one, but I really think he was trying to put that out before they announced the guilty ban, so that, you know, it was kind of like a reminder of what's happening, and then here's the guilty ban. So if people are wondering why we don't talk about that tweet, that's kind of where my perspective is. I don't know if people agree with me, but, you know, that's kind of how I saw it anyway.
Well, if that is true, then I wish that there had been something else that was more tailored to the situation.
Right.
Because my reading of it, which was maybe wrong, was that it was a sub warning, right? Subtweet. It was a sub warning, right? I would rather him have just said, like, "Hey, you can't be doing this," right? This is against the rules under the Like, I'd rather it just be out there. But you know, if that's not going to happen, then I felt that at least like the warning, the semi-warning, as I understood it, was at least good. If that wasn't what it was, you know, maybe I'm wrong about that. But I would have wanted that if it wasn't.
Any case, you know, again, all this is just leaning towards trying to make the FGC a more welcoming place, a better place for us to play, and, you know, have fun with games and everything like that. So hopefully we can achieve that. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to get better. Next year, you know, at EVO after parties, if the after parties don't change, you know, stuff may happen again, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, you know, when people say things like, "Can we all just play video games?" That is what we want to do, but some people seem to use that to mean, let's quit talking about this stuff.
Right.
But that's not. We should not. Mm-hmm. We should not quit talking about this stuff in order to have a situation where we can just play video games. Unfortunately, we need to talk about this stuff. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. That happens before we end up with a FGC where we can just play video games. Right now, as it has been, we're not just playing video games. We just talked about issues that are not just playing video games. We need to discuss this stuff and address it, and then hopefully in the future we can just play video games.
Yeah,
that time is not yet.
And because the worst thing about it is, the people don't realize when we say let's just play video games, like, how many women are scared to just play video games because of these harassment situations, right? Exactly. You can't just say let's play video games, because it's not an equal statement to everybody, right? If we can get to a point where it does become an equal statement to everybody, then yeah, let's all play games, you know. But up until then, we've got to do what we can to fix the situation.
Wow, Mikey, if it's true that you've been suggested not to go to Wednesday night fights for fear of safety issues, then that is a lot more serious than I had thought, and that is really bad. I didn't know that. Ugh. That sucks. I don't support that at all. That's definitely a problem.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he's warned not to go. It sounds like he's warned not to go because they're worried that something might escalate or something. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey's not the one who should be worried. You know what I mean? Like, Mikey's not the one who should end up not going for fear. Right.
Exactly. But that's exemplary of why it's hard for people to talk about these things, because then they usually get hit by a lot of the blowback. Right. It's I'm going to use a total SAT word here. It's usually not, you know, the hitting your head on the curb that causes the contra coup that usually causes that. I only know that word because of They Might Be Giants did a whole song on it, which is when the brain actually rebounds off of your skull. Like, that's where the damage actually comes and stuff like that. It's a weird analogy. Never mind. I just wanted to use the word contra coup. Anyway,
it's all good, man.
Continue.
No, I think that's about all I got.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right. So we can go, I guess, to a little bit of a lighter topic in terms of banning characters.
Well, do you want to do the thing that's right before that? See on our run of show.
Oh, did I miss it?
Before tournament results. Or do you want to address that part later?
Actually, yeah, go for it. Okay,
let's talk about the Street Fighter League. Because Guilty has been banned, a spot opens up. right? Guilty had qualified for the Street Fighter League by way of the fan vote. She's not in there, so one spot opens up. Who gets that spot? Remember what happened with the end of this Street Fighter League?
Right.
It unfortunately closed on the voting an hour before it should have.
Mm-hmm.
And that, we mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, that threw off the plans of people who were not in the top 4 at the time. Emezi or Zykes and Arturo Sabin. They both said that they had plans to try to get like a last-minute bump, a last
spirit
hour
bomb,
bump,
basically, yeah.
A spirit bomb. And that didn't end up happening. Just unfortunately, there was an error and the polling closed too soon. So now the spot opens up again. I don't know what to do with this spot, but what I have heard happened, and I don't have any more information than what I'm about to tell you, is that I was just watching Best of 5 right before the show, and they did some sleuthing. Okay, so Tommy Two-Step and Jibbo are hanging out. Sherry's talking about doing something in SoCal. Arturo is getting on a plane somewhere. What are they doing?
Right.
What are they doing in SoCal for a week? I don't know. But it could be that they're going to film Street Fighter League.
Yeah, well, actually, they're probably showing up here and then using the Capcom time machine to play Street Fighter for the next few weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Of course. It's not all at once, of course. As we know, it's over many weeks.
Exactly. Whenever we did those recap shows, clearly, when Rip was saying like yesterday, or I'm proud of my guys this weekend, when Punk said that, they're clearly referring to long swaths of time.
Of course.
Exactly.
So yeah, this is just a theory, and obviously there's nothing confirmed. This could be off mark. I don't know, man. But I would be bummed if it was true. I would feel bad for Sykes, who was 5th in the voting, and Art was 6th.
So Sykes was 5th in the voting.
If I recall correctly, I think he was 5th.
If that's the case, he absolutely should.
He's in here. Emezi. So yeah, you were 5th, and you were never contacted.
That's.
I think that sucks. I think if this is SFL, I don't know. But if so, maybe I should just phrase it like this: I wouldn't want that to happen.
Right. That seems messed up. Like, without question, I feel like Zyke should have been in there. Like, he was 5th. He should definitely be in there. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, other than to say that would be really disappointing if that is indeed what happened. So, yeah, I just why? You know what I mean? Like there were. I have to stop treating this as if it's a fact. There would have been other better ways to handle it. Okay.
I mean, even if they
maybe you open up the voting again for a day.
Dude,
or a couple of days.
Fly them out to play a 1st to 10,
Okay. Yeah, maybe you got a set going. I don't know.
I would rather see them duke it out in game, you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. A match, a voting period, whatever. At a minimum, go with the order that existed.
Right, exactly. This just seems odd. I mean, if Art truly is there for the show and they didn't contact Sykes at all, there needs to be an explanation.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of public explanation. So.
Dang, he got the super delegates? Wow. He won the electoral vote? Okay, yeah. He lost the popular vote. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's we'll see. I don't think we can say too much more because we just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. This is all speculation.
All speculation.
Man.
Okay.
Do you want to go on to some other lighter news, or do you want to take a break first, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's take a little break. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I have to restart my camera out here. I see it doing some weird stuff.
Okay, no problem.
All right, so yeah, let's take a break. We'll be back. We're going to talk about some character stuff. We're going to talk about a bunch of tournament results. And by the way, I have swag. Let me know if this is stuff that y'all care about. Don't put your name in if you don't care about it, okay? But I have some Roadrunner Records swag. As you can see, I have a beanie here. I have some long sleeve shirts with their logo on it. And I have a hoodie.
Nice.
With their logo on it. I'll talk about the sizes later on.
Now, obviously,
we'll do that later on.
Obviously, you have that stuff because you're a huge Roadrunner Records fan.
That's
so, can you
exactly
explain
right.
to everybody the details of Roadrunner Records and like who they have on their label and stuff?
Sure. Roadrunner Records has Slipknot and Ghidorah.
All right, let's take a break so we give David some time to look this up.
Monsters.
We'll give him a chance to look it up, and when we come back, we'll tell you a little bit more about Roadrunner Records. All right, we'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back.
All right, I am running the ad.
Yep, and I have turned us back on. That kissing noise is totally me kissing David over the internet.
Wow. Swanky.
That is Kitty here. My boy Nathan is here. He's missed me very, very much in the past week.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Oh, man. Mwah.
Poor Bub.
Yeah. Hi. Meow. He's not meowing back at me. Donations should give notifications. Do you not see any notifications? Did we not see any? I'll see if I can find the Streamlabs and get some of that. I'll read it out there if I don't.
Hey, so apparently when we went live, I had it as we were playing Teppen rather than talk shows. So my bad. You want to do a quick restart?
No, it's fine. Okay. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it did update? Teppen.
Teppen. I don't see any. I don't see any donation notifications.
Hey, we can talk about the Spider-Man stuff later. That looks cool.
So I don't actually see any notifications about it, so... Hi, boy. Hi, baby boy.
A cat, huh? Are we gonna have a cat battle?
Is your cat over there?
Not in the room.
Okay. You're going out to get the cat. That's awesome. Yay! Here, I'm turning on the camera during this break here.
All right, I'm good to go.
Hold up your cat to the camera. There you go. Cat battle. Cat battle. Nathan versus Ajax.
Did you see the last video that I put up?
No, I did not.
Where Ajax snuck into the room during a tournament stream that I did.
That's awesome.
I was doing one of the Mortal Kombat online tournaments on Sunday, and he snuck into the room. He opened that door right back there. And he came into the room, and he came right up here, and then he, at some point, like this, decided that he didn't want to be held anymore, and he tried to get out, and he opened up the door and got out.
Oh, he knows how to open up the door now, huh?
Yeah, he opened up the door to get in, and then he was trying to open up the door to get out. Unfortunately, we went to break, and so that he was like opening it, and he finally got out once we were on break.
Dang.
That was cool.
I have knobs, so my cats can't open those. But if I ever switched it to the lever ones, they probably would be able to do it as well. So, all right. Anyways, let's get back to the show. I'm gonna go back to the break screen, mute our mics, and then I'll tell us when we get back.
Right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tuesday show. I am James, and David, of course, is coming to you live from his home over there. Say hello to everybody, David.
Hello! Let's talk about characters. Let's talk about bands of characters, to be precise.
Yeah, you can't just say bands right now.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Let's talk about character bands. Let's talk about Hero first. In Smash. This is a character that came out not too long ago, and it has a lot of random elements in how it works. And immediately upon it coming out, even before it came out, to be honest, even at as soon as Sakurai was showing it off, there were people who were like, "This character looks wild. We don't want all the randomness that he's coming in with." And now he's out, and yeah, he definitely has random stuff. And should he be banned because of that? Right? This is an ongoing topic, and in fact, the South Australian scene has already banned Hero. He is banned in that scene. And in other scenes throughout the world, there are conversations as to whether to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's enough statistical data to ban him yet. Now, I agree that, a lot of people are going to be mad about randomness, and Hero's randomness is nothing like Faust, for example, right?
Right.
Faust throws items and, you learn to deal with it. Sometimes he gets ridiculous meteors that can change the match. It's still nothing to the extent of Hero being like, oh, one-hit kill, from 0 to death instantaneously. Now, the chances of that happening, I've heard, are very rare. And I've also heard that Hero is actually kind of, without that randomness, kind of a low-tier character, not very strong. I would like to see Hero allowed in tournaments, because even if Hero could win a tournament based off of that randomness, would you, as a player who is legitimately trying to compete and win this event, pick a character who you'd have to rely on something and hope it works? Just like that. So I don't think Hero, from what I read and from what people have told me, that he's not a very good... if he was an excellent character and had the randomness, that would be an issue. But I heard he's not he's like a sub, Hero with the sword character. And if he isn't winning tournaments, I don't see why there's any reason to ban him already, honestly. So, and people have said he's anti-competitive, but I don't see that right now. So,
well, I'm fine with it. That is to say, I'd be fine with banning him. The Smash scene has a lot more history. What are you doing, Ajax? A lot more history of banning stuff, right? It's not in the rest of the FGC. That's very rarely done. But in Smash, it's not like that. Just as a core way that they play, they have to ban items, stages, yada yada. I don't think that the step of banning to them is not as dire as it is in the rest of fighting games, where it's very rare, right? We almost never do it. So that's fine. And I'm persuaded by the people who say that even apart from the randomness, and by the way, I've seen multiple clips of heroes killing on stream. The streamed matches are a tiny percentage of all the matches that are played, and I've already seen it happen several times,
right.
So, I feel like it can't be that few of that rare of an occurrence. Even on top of the RNG. The language issue, I think, is significant, right? So you have to read the little menu very quickly to know what's going on. And if it's not in a language that you know, or if it's not in the language that you've come to expect, then that could probably be a problem for international players as well.
Yeah, actually...
So I could see that being a problem.
I hadn't heard about the language argument until I just read the chat right now. And as soon as they posted that, I was like, hey. Yeah, because that's definitely an issue, because not only... Even if you're not using Hero, if you're fighting against him and they pick an item and you can't read it, you don't know what to expect. That's a problem too.
The
language thing, I think, is more of an issue than the RNG factor.
I just don't want to discount the RNG factor. While I think that the language thing also matters, the RNG, it sounds like it's super obnoxious. I wouldn't like it either. And I don't want to make a comparison as that you said that you don't either to Faust or to other characters that have existed. He's not Omen, right? Where Omen's fireballs appear in one of a set random ways. It's not like that. It's much more comprehensive, and the swing is much stronger. Faust just has good tools, right? Omen ended up just having good tools in addition to the randomness. Hero depends on it in a substantial way, and he can kill himself as well as killing the opponent. Like, what if he gets the one where he has super slow movement and he just gets killed, right? I think that's stupid. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. So while if that character came out in some, one of the fighting games that has a history of not banning things, then maybe we treat it differently. But in the context of Smash, where banning things is not that big of a deal, yeah, man, if the scene wants to do it, more power to him. I totally fine with me. No big deal.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm always just kind of in that standpoint where I'd like to see it first before banning it, but that is definitely an old school FGC mentality.
Well, I think if you're banning because the character's too good, then that is something that you need to prove. Mm-hmm. But that's not the reason that he'd be banned.
Right.
The reason for banning him would not be that he's too strong, it's that he's too random. And that's something that you can just see. It's you don't need to. I don't know how long you need to spend investigating the character to find that out. The language issue as well is just something that there it is. You don't
right. The question is basically, he's probably not going to win tournaments, but the one time he gets something lucky, he might send MK Leo to losers, and that will affect the tournament drastically. You know what I mean? He might not affect the overall situation, but he can definitely affect very individual situations, which would be kind of annoying.
Well, and whoever loses to it.
Right,
Whether
exactly.
Johnny Donuts or not, right? Mm-hmm. Johnny Donuts will have as much reason to complain as MK Leo. So, yeah, I don't think I would want it either. I don't have any position on whether the character's good. I mean, to be honest, I don't know enough about it. But I just think that the reasons that I've seen people talking about for banning him are separate from whether he's a good character.
Right.
It's that he is too random, and the language issue is there.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, too, is that, honestly, from a banning perspective, you're not going to be short on characters to pick.
Right? Yeah, there's 124 other characters to pick in Smash. Right? In Ultimate, there's so many. You are not lacking. Yeah,
if you ban one character, it's really not going to be terrible. So, yeah.
MK Leo said that he thinks Tero's top 10. Okay. Thanks, Gamer Till Death.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, does he say he's top 10 with the randomness or without the randomness? That's the question. But, is Ajax want out, or is he just chilling back there?
When he wants out, he usually goes over here to this side of the door.
Okay. Oh, dang! I don't know if the chat can actually see the cat. Oh, they did. Okay, I don't know if they actually saw the laser eyes on the cat.
Oh, yeah, I did it. Was it weird?
Yeah, he got into the right angle and all of a sudden he went, and he had laser cat eyes.
Let him be a loaf. He's being a loaf.
Oh, there it is again.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Wow. He looks kicks after his daddy, all right.
There you go. Laser eyes. Oh, that's too funny.
Anything else to say about Hero for now?
No. Like I said, I mean, honestly, I haven't seen enough of him for me to really have super informed opinion. So if anybody ever tries to go, look, James is wrong because he said, I'm saying it right now, I really honestly don't know enough to say whether he should be banned or not. So.
All right. Well, something else I definitely don't have enough information to say whether he should be banned or not is GT Goku in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Yeah, so did that just start happening today? Because I
saw it today. I mean, I don't follow it terribly closely, but I saw on Twitter a bunch of my friends who do follow it were talking about whether he should be banned. I don't know how many of them take that seriously. In fact, I think most of the people who I saw tweeting about it were not down with it.
I mean, if Bardock wasn't banned, and Cell wasn't banned early on, like, Cell was on every team at first, Bardock was on every team. I heard GT Goku was on every team, and they just want to ban him for variety's sake, but...
You know, this is one situation where you don't ban things in a game like Dragon Ball unless it's wildly too good.
Okay, hang on a second. So Crack Prod in the chat says that Sonic Fox said it as a parody, as a joke to the hero ban, and then a bunch of people started taking it seriously. So it might not have actually been serious all along.
Yeah. I mean, the people who I saw talking about it, I think were mostly not down with it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I haven't played the character. I haven't played the game in a year, so I don't have any position on it other than to say that I think it sounds pretty dumb.
Well, if that's the case and it's not actually a serious conversation, then, again, it's same point, right? I'm not, obviously, especially on a team game as well, so, it's not like you have to be good with some other characters in order to win with him, right? It's not like he's just winning the whole thing by himself, so.
And Badass Cyborg 2000 is saying, what I mean is that don't ban characters in non-Smash games unless they're Akuma in Street Fighter 2 level of broken. Yeah, that's basically the position. And then it's true that Marvel 3 had a lot of characters who were on a lot of teams with some of the same characters. Mm-hmm. Doom was everywhere, right? For example,
Virgil.
Virgil was common. There was a time in the game's development where it seemed like it was really narrowing down to like a Zero team. Zero May Cry was really popular. Almost everybody else who didn't have that had Doom on anchor. It was really narrow. And then it kind of reached a point where it opened back up. Mm-hmm. I don't know enough about Dragon Ball to know whether that is a likely occurrence.
And even then...
At the time in Marvel 3, none of us thought that it would open up.
Oh, yeah, the cat is trying to open the door now.
Oh, cool, yeah, you get to watch him do that.
No, now he's laser eyeing us. Bzzz. Okay.
But yeah, at that time in Marvel 3, it was just a few teams. And we weren't sure that it would ever change.
Right.
It ended up doing so. And I don't know whether that's also likely in Dragon Ball or not. Mm-hmm. You guys can check it out.
Even back in MVC3 when it started narrowing, I didn't even mind it because that's what MVC2 did anyway, right? Yeah. MVC2, there's literally like 4 or 5 characters that you see even being used. Most of them are just assists anyway, right? So, but man, it's so cool, like talking to Yipes about MVC2 and hearing all about like the meta of the game and everything, and because I honestly don't know the character matchup meta very well in MVC2. It's so fascinating talking to him. Is Lyra on the other side of the door or something, or?
No, but there is there's a little mat on the ground where we have one of their water, and he's tugging at the mat trying to pull it underneath. I don't know why.
Go, Kitty. You're looking at the door. Go, Kitty. Get the door. Get the door. Get the door, Kitty. Get the door. He's really thinking about it. He's thinking about this.
We'll see. I'll give him another few minutes, and if he doesn't open it up, then I'll let him out.
Yeah, so
I think it'd be cool for people to see him get out. Yeah. It's cool to watch.
Apologies to everybody who's listening to this in podcast form. You were on camera. David's cat is like literally staring at the doorknob of his door, and he's in like crouch position, like he's ready to jump up and open it. But he is definitely relaxed now, so he's not doing it. So everybody on Twitch / YouTube right now is just on their like edge of their seat, seeing if the cat can ever find his way out.
Good old Ajax the cat. Yes. Anyway, that's it about Dragon Ball, I guess. That's it about banning characters.
Okay.
Well, you want to talk about some of the things that went down?
Let's talk about some results.
Alright, cool. So, let's begin by talking about Collision 2019, which was a Tekken tournament in Lima, Peru. Mm-hmm. It was a Masters event. And it was very well attended. And the results were super sick.
Right. By the way, just as an opportunity to say this, shout outs once again to the TWT for doing a great job throwing their events all around the world, because it does promote everybody going to the event. So this is an event obviously in Peru, but a bunch of players went there, including, like, Nee was there, right? No, I know, like, Saint was there.
Nee was not there. Let me tell you what happened.
Okay,
so
sure.
I'm going to go reverse order, which we don't do often anymore, but I think it's interesting in this case. 7th places were Talon Book and Kudance.
Mm-hmm.
5th places were Talon Kakoma and Gigi Saint.
Okay.
4th place was BH Ruperto from Venezuela. 3rd place was Get Gosu Nene from Peru. 2nd place was Roinichi from Peru. 1st place was Get Gosu Abel del Maestro from Peru. So you had 4 players from East Asia and 4 players from South America in the top 8, and the South Americans got the entire top half of the top 8. Peru was all top 3.
So, in the end, it turns out that Korea was bad at Tekken.
It turned out that Korea was not even top 2. When it comes to we thought they were the best. Not only were they not the best, but they weren't the second best either.
I guess you need to be a country that starts with the letter P to be the best at
the P's are killing it right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Man, I'm trying to think of the other ones now.
Next up on the list, man.
What other countries can come and destroy the Philippines? Actually, the Philippines are pretty good at Tekken too.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, Poland. Hey, I was
watch out for Poland, right?
I was just in Poland. I should have checked out the Tekken scene over there, dude. Oh, man.
So yeah, that's so cool. And I think it was Ruperto eliminated Saint, I think is what it was, to ensure that it was all top 4 South America. They had a party. It was so sick. Oh yeah, here we go.
Go Kitty, you can do it. Oh. It's the cat is reaching up right now. He's standing on his legs. He has the doorknob. He's moved the doorknob handle partly down. He's bending it more. He's reached up there. He's definitely has it, and he's trying to pull on the door, but he let go of the knob. He doesn't realize the handle plus pulling is the dual action combined together to be able to open the door. He's pawing at the he's going for a cross-handed reach right now. And he's still standing on his hind. Oh, he gave up. He sat back down. He couldn't do it, and he gave the laser eyes to the camera. Man. He needs better range. Okay. Anyways, I had to play-by-play for the podcast people at home. So
I'll give him another couple minutes. I'll give him another chance.
Okay.
When he fails like that, he usually takes a little bit of time and then goes back to it.
Yeah, he has to rest up and reevaluate his strategy. He's gonna watch some of the replays and
Exactly. Yeah. It's almost dinner time for him, so he wants to go downstairs like that.
That's awesome. Okay. Anyways, what were we saying? Oh yeah, Peru.
Yeah, anyway, when it was all top 4 South America, they had a party out there.
Oh, God, that's so awesome, though. I mean, Tekken is in such an awesome place. And the parody of this game is just so good right now. Like, oh, thank you, Evening Star, for the subscription. But yeah, the parity, Parity of Tekken right now is just so strong. It's very, very exciting, to be honest with you. And I think Tekken is in a wonderful place.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so excited for its future, basically, at this point.
All right, let's talk about the Fight Club NRW, which takes place in Cologne, Germany. Street Fighter V was a ranking event on the CPT, and it was won by Nasser Bigberg, who just got second at EVO.
Yep.
So things are working out for him. And he beat Mouse Problem X in the grand finals. In fact, I think he sent Problem X to losers too, if I recall correctly. The thing he said that on Twitter was... Oh,
that's right. By the way, David, before you go on, going back to the Tekken thing, some people are mentioning this in the chat. A lot of people have said that Arslan Ash isn't even the best player in Pakistan, that it's actually a Wise Honey. And he just got sponsored. So
Right.
I don't know.
By an Australian team.
I don't know what his visa issue for the U.S. is and stuff like that, but obviously he can start traveling to a lot of different countries. So now we might be seeing two
Tekken finals are in Thailand this year.
That's right. He
So
might be able to
that's
go
all
there
you
and
need,
win the
man.
last chance qualifiers.
Yeah, we mentioned when Chikarin and I forget who else also came out to Pakistan that Awais Honey was the one who 10-0'd Chikarin. And then Chikarin didn't he get top 8 at EVO like 2 weeks later? So
Something
Awais
like
Honey
that,
10-0'd that guy. So, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, Kuro was the other one, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that will be very cool to watch.
Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Anyway, what Big Bird said was that he feels like he's got a big load off. Having gotten second at EVO, like, pretty good chance he's going to make it into Capcom Cup at this point. So he feels that he's locked it up early, and he no longer has the big stress of being worried about qualifying. And that
Interesting.
because of that, he was like, man, I'm just playing so great. I don't have to, I don't have as much stress.
That's good, though. I mean,
So
look,
it's great.
to
It's
follow up a second place at EVO to beating Problem X in the grand finals of a European event. I mean, look, I was so happy for him when he got second place. I mean, he's just been a guy who's been playing so well and working so hard, and again, similar to the Pakistan story, right? We're just used to it because Big Bird and Angry Bird have been at so many events for so long now. But honestly, if you think about it, just the fact that they're even having this kind of opportunity is super awesome. So shout outs once again to Nasser, NASR, for their sponsoring of them. And so, it's just been really awesome to see this kind of success from him from a region that we wouldn't have imagined would have this kind of, opportunity. So to see him playing so well, I think it's one of those great FGC stories that makes me proud to be a part of the FGC,
I'm with you. Yeah, third place at this tournament was Angry Bird.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great tournament for them. Tekken 7 was won by TDB Malekith, and Samurai Shodown was won by NVS Mr. Crimson. Ryan Hart got second.
Nice. Okay.
Crimson was probably still is a super good SFI player, but I think he's always been more of a SamSho guy. I think that was like always his favorite game. So shout out to him for doing good work in it.
I just thought about this. Like, some people are joking. Arcade Ghost in the chat types, the birds are coming in hot. I need to ask Big Bird and Angry Bird if we're allowed to turn them into emotes. And that way, when we play the bird outro, people can actually just spam those emotes instead,
That actually is so genius.
Yeah, I might actually have to ask them if I can actually...
All right, take a note. Take a note right there.
That would be better than any sort of actual bird emote, I think. So I'm going to ask them about that. So
I don't think this little kitty cat's going to try to make his way out anymore. He
yeah,
looks
I
like
know.
he's pretty
It's
chilled
all
out.
good. It's all good. He's
Yeah,
just chilling.
I'll let him sit there until we take a break. He's hanging.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Super Smash Con. This happened, I think, a couple of weeks ago at this point on the 11th. And, obviously it was gigantic. This is one of the gigantic Smash tournaments. It had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And that was won by MKLeo with Joker. He's pretty good.
I heard he just won another big tournament like a few weeks ago too.
I heard that was true. Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
it was 3,500 people who he beat in that tournament.
So it was all right. Dude, what was it I saw that someone actually said that if there was a single elimination tournament for the entire planet, a 1v1, it would take you, it was like 100 wins. It was like something small. It was like 80 wins to win the tournament. Like, that's how fast, having everything takes or something like. It was some crazy number like that. It was kind of crazy.
Not a big surprise.
Oh no, my camera froze.
Wow, it was your fault? Wow. I and my foreign tech, I'm not even there in person, and my tech's doing great.
That's so weird. What happened here? How long have I been frozen? How long have I been frozen for? Uh, 30 seconds. Okay. So not too long then. Hang on, let me try something real quick. Keep talking,
Yeah.
David. I'm gonna mess with stuff.
Okay, I just wanted to bring up the fact that it was fun to watch. I actually did watch a bunch of it.
Sorry, there's going to be an echo for a little bit just so I can hear David. But
that's fine. Yeah, I watched a bunch of it. It had really good character variety. You know, the top 8, and you got Joker, Peach, Pokemon Trainer, Young Link, Zero Suit, Captain Falcon, Game & Watch, Palutena, Fox, Falco, and Mario. That was really cool. But the sickest moment was actually before that. Did you watch the Leffen match? Did you see that? Did you see what happened there?
I didn't get a chance to watch any of it, so...
Oh, man. It was hilarious. Do you remember the, like, Smash blow-up for a while where Salem was saying things about Melee players that, like, they're not really playing Smash?
Yeah, that's right.
Remember the whole, like, whatever nonsense happened?
Yeah.
Well, he versus Leffen happened in Smash Ultimate. You know, not even in Leffen's main game, of course.
Right.
And Leffen beat him.
Yo!
Leffen beat him. And, dude, the crowd was going so crazy. But the wildest thing was that the next morning, all right, I woke up and I saw that Kimmer had put out the video already on YouTube. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll check it out. It had 250,000 people who had already viewed it the next morning. The next morning. You know, you're just reminded sometimes of how big that scene is, and whether it's the fact that they had, you know, almost a third, I guess more than a third of all the people who entered a tournament at EVO entered Smash.
Right.
They had a ton of people watching. They had 250,000 people watch the YouTube video in a day. The reach is just unlike anything else. So, shout out to them. It was really, really fun to watch. Enjoyed it. The Melee tournament was won by Leffen. He took it.
Oh, that's not surprising right there.
In Leffen. Well, I mean, he beat Hungrybox in Grand Finals to get it.
Oh, okay,
you know,
nice. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good tournament. Zane got 3rd. Amso was up there in 5th. It was cool, dude.
So he beat Hungrybox twice then. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was winners and grounds, right?
Twice 3-0. Dang. Okay. So he.
Yeah, winners and grounds.
Well, I mean, look, Hungrybox is obviously the guy that you got to practice against now, right? He's the one that you've got to figure out. So that's really impressive to 6-0 Hungrybox at an event like that.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Leffen then. Placing, you said 3rd in Ultimate?
No, in Ultimate he didn't get top 8.
Oh, okay.
He just beat Salem. He got, I mean, he did well. 17th.
17th, okay, gotcha. That's actually really cool. Good for Leffen. Good for Leffen, dude. Shoutouts to that guy.
They actually had a Smash Bros. 4 tournament and the Buzz won it.
Oh, nice.
They actually had a Brawl tournament and Anti won it. And then 64 was won by Keys.
Okay. Where was SmashCon taking place?
Oh, man, I don't remember. I want to say at Eastern Seaboard. Let me see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chantilly, Virginia.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
let's talk about some online events, because actually a bunch of stuff happened. I'll just go through it quickly, but there were a couple of CPTs, and there was one Mortal Kombat. So let's talk about the CPTs first. The CPT East Asia online happened. Nemo won it. First place with Urian. Gachkin got 2nd with Rashid. Then Itazan after that with Geef and Abigail. But it was cool, dude. Nauman did work as Sakura. I always like to see that. That was a lot of fun. There were 2 Dawsons in top 8. Daimon and YFC Mochi.
Yeah, what's interesting there is that we haven't seen any of the new characters there, but if I'm not mistaken, in the Latin event, Mono placed really high and did use some poison, right?
Well, say that again. You broke up a little bit.
So what's interesting to me is in that top 8 in Asia, none of the new characters were used. None of the 3 new characters were used in the top 8. But if I'm not mistaken, also this weekend was the Latin one, right?
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, it was a couple weeks ago. Oh, okay.
But I don't think you could use the new characters.
Oh, okay.
And they just came out, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Mono did get 3rd at the Reddit our Street Fighter.
Oh, it was the Reddit one. Okay,
the online weekly.
He was using poison, right?
He used poison in that, yeah.
Nice.
But he did also do well in the online Latin America. So Meta RD won it with Birdie, a little bit of Mika, a little bit of Karen. Mono got second with, I think, entirely Fang.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Well, he said on Twitter that he was thinking about going to Bison, but that he thinks that Fang does fine against Birdie, that's not like a character problem. He just got,
right.
But he actually was a round away, or maybe he was 2 rounds away from taking the first set of Grand Finals. Maybe, let me see, maybe it was Winners Finals. He's, okay, yeah, right. So Mono was in it from Winners' side in Grand Final.
Okay.
He beat DRA in Winners Finals. And then he was close to doing it in the first set and just got steamrolled after that. He got 6-0, I think, something like that after that. It was a blow up. So anyway, shout out to Mena. He's strong.
He's kind of good,
He is.
Oh, shit.
And then in the Mortal Kombat 11 Pro Competition online NA West, they already had the East. The West happened over the weekend, and the winner of it was Rewind. Rewind used Liu Kang and Jackie, mostly Liu. But the second place was Phoenix, a player from Arizona who's on the come up, and he used Reborn Scorpion. And Scorpion just got the change of his teleport no longer being a mid, it's now a high.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, oh no, he got really hurt. Anyway, he got second place at this tournament, right? So
yeah, I mean, even as a Scorpion player myself, I honestly didn't think it was that big of a deal, but
Yeah, right. Third was DJT. You had Han Rashid up there, Deoxys and Too Easy, then DJA homies and Socialic Nash fan. It was good. Really fun to watch. Oh, I heard about it, Pewzera, and I'd rather not find anything else about it. So if you can hold off on discussing that or go somewhere else to talk about it, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, was there another leak or something again?
Yeah, I'd rather not even give it more.
Oh, okay, all right, nope.
Discussion.
Anybody who's a mod in our chat, if anyone tries to post anything about a leak of a combat pack, please time them out.
Yeah, anyway, moving on.
You have been warned.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to do it now, but...
No, I'm just saying anybody else who just tries to be a jerk about it, basically.
For sure.
Which could clearly happen, so...
Let's talk about other stuff. Okay, that's all I got. No, hold on. There was actually one more tournament that I wanted to get to the Crucial Alliance.
Actually, I wanted to talk about one other tournament as well, but go ahead.
Sure. So let's talk about the Crucial Alliance, which was a memorial tournament for the passing of Crucial B.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, I just think that's important to bring up.
For
sure. It was won by Ranma Sama. Blazer Fury got second. Noah Spectre. That's in Street Fighter. Dozo won Shodown. But yeah, it's just something to mention. Again, that was not long ago. Here's something that I found out, dude. His funeral was on Evo weekend. I met somebody from the scene, and
really?
He said that they went to Evo. So, well, obviously, each person had to make their own choice, but that it was the same weekend as Evo, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, nothing to say except that's just unfortunate that it worked out that way.
Very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. Yeah, and right before Honda passed out. I mean, obviously that there's important reasons why it's sad, but that's sad irony. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that. There you go.
Okay. Also, just of note, one of the reasons why I was gone for the last week was because the reason is because I actually went to Germany this last weekend for another U.S. Army event. And so we did the U.S. Army event in Bavaria, and it was won by a player named Blood and Guts 7, who clearly knew what he was doing. Very, very, very good. Knew all the high-level strategies.
I see.
Turns out to be Antoine's cousin, Alucard. So it was Alucard's...
Really?
Yeah, it was Alucard's cousin.
Okay, I thought where you were going was that he didn't know anything at all. That he was in total scrub. But actually, he was legit, and he was actually Antoine's cousin.
Yeah, so he used like 3 different characters. He had crazy Urian mix-ups. Okay. His main was Mika, but he was doing all the standard combos and resets in the corner and everything.
Okay.
The person who got second place was Jay Shells, who was also another one of those players that had his own fight stick and had a really strong Falk. Was doing some of the crazy Falk combos, and the only reason why he didn't win was because Blood and Guts was there. So there was at least like 4 or 5 people who were really good, and keep in mind that the person who won Germany last year, Haitian King, was the one who won the whole entire thing across the entire army thing. So, you know, I asked Blood and Guts during the interview, I was like, so do you want to keep the championship here on this base? And he's like, yeah. So but I think that's kind of cool, so there you go.
Did you get to do anything else in Bavaria? And also where in Bavaria?
Yeah, so that was the thing, is I figured I would talk about that at the end of the show, unless you want me to talk about it now, because, it was a long week and it was fun, so it was good times. It was good times.
Cool, man. Let's talk about other stuff then in the meantime. You want to get to some game news?
Yeah, let's do that.
I just wanted to talk briefly more about Honda, Lucia, Poison, and Nightwolf, who all came out just after EVO.
So before you get started on that, let me just say, because I've been traveling for the past week, I have barely had a chance to do anything. And in fact, you saw all of my interaction with Honda and Poison afterwards. You came into my chat for a little bit while I was streaming Honda. I think Honda is sick, by the way.
Like, I agree with you. I think he's cool.
He's not only kind of sick, but he's... Actually, this is the case probably for all of them. I haven't messed with Lucia at all yet, which I'm planning to do very soon. But for what I've seen, all 3 of them are much more execution heavy than a lot of characters in previous seasons. Honda has that crazy hand slap thing from the whiff cancel off of the... Like, I was learning how to do strong whiff cancel stomp into hands. And that's actually really fun. Like, I want to use Honda just to keep doing that. You know what I mean? And again, that's the appeal of execution. It just feels good to practice something and get good at it. And then from what I've seen from Poison, it's a lot of stand heavy punch with whip stance canceling. So she's Johnny. She's like, they put Johnny in the game. And the only reason why I picked Johnny in the first place is because he had miss cancels. But like, not only that, but it's also confirming too. Like, you'll see them whip him, and if it hits, they'll let the whip rock, and then they can combo off of that. Or if it doesn't hit, then they cancel it. Like, if it's blocked, they cancel it, and she's plus in that situation. I don't know. Seems like a lot of really cool things with these. I really like the way the characters look, and Lucia has like these crazy stun combos. Like, if she back throws you out of the corner, then she throws an EX fireball. Does the combo where she runs and shoulder tackles you into the fireball and then keeps the combo going. I don't know. The characters seem really sick to me so far.
I'm with you, man. I'm really, really enjoying them. So I mostly have been playing Honda, but I have played some Poison too now. I've investigated Lucia as well. I like Honda a lot, and I think he's strong. I don't think he's... My initial thought was like, wow, this character is super good. But then I think that... my initial testing of his anti-air was that it was stronger than it actually is.
Oh, okay,
so, you know, like, I found that Stand Fierce will... There are some things that it loses to. But if you have back charged, you have one of the best and easiest anti-airs in the game in Fierce and EX Headbutt.
Right.
You should just not get jumped in on ever. You press forward and punch. It's like, you know, how do you screw it up? So I think... So he is a great wall in a lot of matchups, which is really nice. It's really useful in a lot of matchups to be a wall. But at the same time, he has the speed. Because Headbutt's fast. Headbutt is actually fast. I've been able to get through fireballs from far. EX Headbutt is super easy. You basically can't throw a fireball if he has charge. And since he can clap, moving forward with V-skill, that's Bazooka Knee moving forward, so you can keep your charge while moving forward, which Honda has never had.
And he can cancel the clap if he erases a fireball too, right?
He
can clap the fireball into cancel, so... I
think the fireball nullification part of it, I think it's not that useful, because it's, I think, 15 frame startup.
Right. But if you just have the call-out...
Yeah, totally, yeah. So I think he actually does have a lot of all-around stuff, and I think there's a lot of matchups where I feel that he's at least even and maybe wins. I'm still working on that part.
Okay.
And anyway, it was super fun. Poison, I like, but am not sure she's strong. So I like the idea. I've been playing her a little bit. I like the idea of a ranged grappler, right? That makes sense. I like the idea of zoning out with her whips, and I like the idea of using V-Trigger 2 for her command grabs. I think neither one is as strong as I want it to be. And the poisons that I've seen do well are more about pressuring and setups.
Right.
She has some crazy setups,
right.
side to side stuff, very interesting stuff. That's been the most of the success that I've seen for poisons out. The range stuff, I just don't know, man. Even as Honda, I feel that I can deal with that. As Zanky, if I've played against him, I feel like I can deal with that.
Yeah, I don't know
who that works on.
I don't feel like her range zoning stuff was her strength. I didn't feel like that was the case at all.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, as of what it is right now, I've heard ups and downs on Honda. I've heard some people say that he's going to be good. I heard some people say that he's not great. Heard the same thing about Poison. Lucia seems to be pretty universally appreciated as pretty strong right now. But again, I don't know anything about her yet. I need to study her, obviously,
She's
before.
She's one of those all-around characters. She just has all the tools. That's it. Like she maybe doesn't excel at stuff, but she has a projectile for zoning and counter zoning, and also a projectile for like slow approach. As like a Guile Sonic Boom Shield. She has a Dragon Punch. She has an invincible EX move. She has a 3-frame button. She has good links and hit confirms. She has good corner carry. She has some frame traps. Like, she just has all of these things.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that any of them is like the best in the game, but they're all good.
Right. And by the way, Stupendous in the chat says that Poison destroys Zangief, so...
Well, you've been playing against Anton, so you definitely have played against the better Poison than I have. I'm playing against... one of my friends and random poisons on the internet.
Right.
So I'm sure you know that matchup better than me.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, I think a player would say that.
But in my opinion, like I said, I do think, unless I just see it and it does apparently turn out that that's one or two or three, or maybe all three of them actually are booty ass in terms of tier list. But I feel like by the end of the year, they might be. I think all three of them can be significant within the tier meta. You know, that whole situation. I think they might actually be. We'll see them a lot in CPT events, I think.
I mean, there are already people who are picking up Honda legit. I've seen Stone Kubo playing a lot of Honda, just in online matches, but I feel like he fits super, super well with the character. Right. And somebody else who's really good.
Yeah, one thing I will say, so High Fight comes in the chat.
Some really good stuff.
High Fight says that Honda and Poison can get mauled. But, I mean, again, that's like Street Fighter V, right? I mean, that's what people said about G. That's what people say about a lot of characters, that they can get mauled. But I just, at this point in time, having bad, quote, defense and getting mauled, I just don't feel like is out of the ordinary. I feel like that's the case with the most characters. Manat is the same way too, right? So
right. Manat, Abigail, G.
Yeah.
You have other strengths. I mean, for a while, Urian, when he was before he got nerfed a little bit, that was a problem for him too.
Right.
But he was still super good. I think there's just more to defense in the game than do they have a 3-frame button or an EX move. Those are very useful, but there's more to it than that.
Right. And yeah, it's like I said, even characters who do have 3 frames and EX uppercuts, they'll get mauled too. You know, it just happens. So yeah.
Yep. Okay, well, yeah, very fun characters. I really enjoy playing.
Whoops, David, you're cutting out a little bit. Say that last sentence again.
I've just been playing them a lot.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I haven't had a chance to. I wish I could, because I really want to check them out. They seem super interesting to me, and I just want to do strong into whiff, stomp into hands to people all day with Honda, so.
It's definitely cool. Yeah, he's a really fun character. I've also been playing Nightwolf, who came out in Mortal Kombat.
That's what I mean. Like, doing that hands thing is so exciting to me that I actually find myself doing it on tables. You know, it's
like doing it right now.
Yeah, like practicing roll canceling a lot. Like I used to know Derek Daniels. You know, one of my old school friends. You used to see him do Blanca electricity roll cancel, like on the table all the time. So that I just want to do that with like Honda right now. So
RC hands. I never mastered that one.
Yeah, that's hard.
That is hard.
Anyways, go ahead, Nightwolf.
I've been playing him. I think he's very good.
Oh, you're using him. Okay.
I am using him. Yeah, dude. How could I not use the guy who has a command grab and also a projectile reflect that turns into a teleport.
Right.
How do I not use that?
Right.
So I'm using him basically to counter zoners, because I feel that for Bone Picker, Baraka, his bad matchups are like a couple of the zoners. But I feel that Nightwolf blows zoners up.
Yeah.
So you know, there you go. And I think zoners are some of the best characters right now. Like Cetrion is really good.
Yeah.
But he just reflects the boulder. He just doesn't care about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, boulder goes right back at her.
Nice.
And Scarlet got buffed, and I think she's really good. So I feel like he does well against her as well. So I think he's good in that respect. But he, you know, it's probably true that his first variation, the one that's not a command grab, is the better one.
Mm-hmm.
He has good buttons. That one has a projectile reflect as well, which is just a good thing to have. He has fast buttons in the mid range. He's got good staggers up close. He just has a lot going for himself, man.
That's
really
awesome.
Good. Yeah, really fun character. I like his movement a lot, especially in Ancestral Gift, which is the command grab, because of course I get to, you know, threaten with a teleport constantly, and it's cool. Scarlet throws out a slow ball, right? And I just reflect it, now I'm in her face, and the slow ball's still coming at her, and it's mine now, but now I get to mix up. That's great. It's just super fun.
Oh, man. Okay. I might have to pick up this character, too.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I already thought that Scarlet was good, and then she got buffed a little bit, and a couple of her trouble matches got nerfed a little bit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
One thing I'll add on, I noticed wasn't on the run of show here, is the SamSho patch came out.
Oh, right.
As well. Again, happened while I was out of the country. I could just read about it. Haven't had a chance to touch it, but I have talked with Olaf about it quite a bit, and I've looked through it enough, and it's really interesting. So a lot of people are saying it feels like a different game. Walk speeds have been improved overall. Deflect has been nerfed as I've wanted it to be nerfed. Dodges are better now, so that they actually have more invincibility frames, so they can go through things a little bit better. You know, they nerfed some things that I was surprised. Like, they made it so when you do the Rage Burst, it hits really high upwards now. So that way, if Jubei does the running, you know, uppercut, or if Haomaru does B into uppercut and you Rage Burst it, you'll hit him out of the air now. So you can't do that thing where you take the hit, Rage Burst, have them whiff, and then punish it, basically.
That's too bad. That was cool.
I thought it was cool. I kind of liked it.
Like
even as a Jubei player, I thought it was kind of interesting to be like, I dare you to do it. Like, are you going to do it right now? You know, kind of thing like that. I didn't mind that so much, but...
Like, you could press B and then not cancel it, and they would burst.
Well,
right?
not for Jubei. Not for Jubei.
Cannot do that?
Jubei, he runs into you, and then you can do it anytime you wanted to.
Okay.
But even still then, it was like, if I did it early in a round, I was like, do you want to waste your burst right now?
Right, of course.
Go for it, you know. It was actually kind of interesting, but they took that away. Okay, the weird thing about that is that Jubei didn't get really nerfed outside of that, outside of the fact that back throw and the weapon flipping technique apparently doesn't work anymore. So now he has one of the only weapon flipping techniques that you just can't combo into, right? But that's fine, because that thing getting nerfed, you know, the uppercut thing getting nerfed, the now that you can't burst it, plus the fact that he didn't get any nerfs outside of that weapon flipping technique thing. Like, I think Jubei is going to be ridiculous now. I think he's going to be he was already like top 5 to me, and he just barely got. So it's funny because I used Jubei and Charlotte, and both of those characters barely got nerfed, and I thought they were both amazing anyway. So I feel like they're going to be super strong. So I'm kind of happy with the patch so far, but I mean. I don't think Charlotte got super nerfed. Her uppercut got more delay on landing. That's fine. The knee got like 2 more frames of recovery, which is fine because it used to be distanced properly. It would be +4 on block, so it's like whatever. You know, I don't think she got super nerfed at all, actually. I don't think her 5K is going to be that much worse. So we'll see. Like I said...
She places it still?
What's that?
Is it safe if she places it properly now?
It should still be. Yeah, it should still be. But obviously, some of the key things is that Genjuro did get nerfed a bunch. So he's not going to be dominant like he was before. But being Genjuro, the thing that makes me happy is he doesn't seem like he's unplayable. He's still going to be super good. He's going to be super good. So it's -2 at best perfect space now. Interesting. Okay, we'll see how that goes. We'll see. I'll mess with it a little bit more and see if that actually feels that much worse. But yeah, I don't think Kenjuro is I don't feel like he's been erased. And not only that, some people are saying Shiki's really buff now. So Shiki might actually be super significant now. And Kyoshiro, obviously, much better now. So all these characters felt like they got added to the game. Probably the biggest loser, I don't know, might be Yoshitora, because they got rid of his cross-up jump C thing.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't cross up anymore?
Yeah. Before, when it crossed up, it was ambiguous, too, because he clearly looked like he was in the front, and you'd get crossed up anyway.
Yeah.
But Japan also thought that Yoshitora was S tier. We all thought he was A tier over here. So, there's still a lot of left to be said about him.
It's too bad. I like that. That was a thing that you could do that was strong. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Galford also got nerfed. I think Yoshitora and Galford are probably the two biggest losers in there. I know Galford got his teleport stuff nerfed. But I don't know if anything else got nerfed. But if his normal tool set is still good, I don't think he'll be awful right now. He's just not going to be super annoying to fight against, where I can't do 100% of my combos because he can teleport and punish me out of it, kind of a thing. So, but the hitbox on the Plasma Blade got severely nuked, or is it just still okay? So, anyways, but the Wu definitely got better. I don't know if she's competitive yet still, but what it sounds like they did was a really good job in compressing a lot of the tiers and helping the characters that needed help. So, I'm kind of excited for it. I need to sit down and actually play it, but this is all from talking to Olaf, who's been playing it a lot recently. So
I did go in and download it and try it out just briefly, and I just wanted to see what the walk speeds felt like, and they felt, they're faster for sure, but not a lot, but I would say that I felt that Kyoshiro felt like he could move.
Okay, okay. Yeah, to be honest with you, as a person who's been playing Samurai Shodown a lot, the walk speed doesn't even bother me.
Yeah, all right.
I never walk in the game. You're always dashing, micro dashing, and stuff like that. So the walk speed was never a problem to me. So the fact that the walk speed's changed, I don't think is gonna really change a huge amount. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. I actually kind of like the slower walk speed too, because it'll let me kind of precision place myself in places and stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, the biggest winners for me right now seem like it's going to be... I think Jubei seems like the biggest winner out of this patch. I honestly think Charlotte is also super a winner here, but we'll see how badly the knee nerf has been. I'll mess with it a little bit and see if it feels that much worse. Because if it's always negative, then that means, no matter when it's spaced, you can always attack it back. The thing about it is, which I didn't see a lot of people do, is I use the knee as a whiff throw setup tool. So I would always stand right outside the knee range and I would knee into throw. I've never seen any Charlotte do that, okay? I haven't seen any Charlotte do that. And so that's how I use the tool. So I'm always using it at that max range so that if I hit you, it was plus. Now it's going to be minus, but then if I miss, then I could throw you and stuff like that. So if it's slower on whiff, if it's noticeably slower on whiff, maybe, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, anything else to say about patches and whatnot?
Nope. That's all I had to say about that one.
So I guess you didn't get a chance to play against Shadow Lady and Street Fighter V.
No. In fact, I've never played against any of those challenges or anything like that. But from the videos I've seen, honestly, from a lore and just a Easter eggy kind of thing, I think Shadow Lady is the coolest thing.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great. It's basically Marvel 3 Chun-Li Doom missiles.
Right. Well, she's based off of exactly how she used to fight in one of the previous games. there was in I think it's Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. She had the ability to throw missiles out like that, and then had all the air combos. So that was the first game that she was in. Pretty sure she had all those moves, and that's why she has the air combo. She even has the super that goes ping. You know, that was the one in the original games where she did it like the words would show up on the screen and stuff like that. So I think she's a really cool idea, like a throwback kind of thing. I think that's super fun. So
I didn't realize that is cool. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, was it MVC? Yeah. It was MVC 1 Shadow Lady. Sorry, my bad. MVC 1. So there you go.
Was she called Shadow Lady in that?
Yeah. She's called Shadow Lady. So it's literally a reference to that game.
I did not realize.
Yeah. Okay. It's literally a reference to that game. So that's why I think Shadow Lady is hilarious. And that's why she has the air combos. That's why she launches you into air combos and stuff, because they just put her into the game. And I think that's super funny. And what's cool to me is that people obviously on the PC have modded it now so that you can mess with her in training mode and stuff like that. So I think that would be fun to do. Yeah, she has a push block and stuff like that. So all that stuff they just put in from the game. I thought it was a great throwback. I thought it was a great reference. So it amuses me to no end, basically.
I tried it a little bit, but I don't have that much FM, so I couldn't do it that much, and I didn't win.
Right.
It was definitely a blow-up.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
I did see someone perfect her with Honda. So
really? Okay.
You just go a screen away and headbutt, and she keeps trying to instant air dash and just gets hit by it all day.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Well, in any case, I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Another game. Well, maybe we can save Teppen for the end here.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Let's get to the community stuff. There, it turns out, was a measles outbreak at Evo.
Oh, God, that's right.
There was a measles outbreak.
Literally, the plague, right? So
it was actually Ebola.
We had the locusts. We had the flood.
Oh,
we had the flood, and now the plague was there. Like,
wow.
Quite literally, the end of the world is actually happening over there, dude.
Well, at least I know that I'll be safe. I don't know about all you Gentiles out there. I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Luckily, I managed to escape the desert along with the rest of my people and came back to Los Angeles. Didn't take me 40 days this time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bummer. If you were there and you're not, immunized, first of all, you're an idiot. Get immunized.
Right.
But also, on top of that, you probably should check yourself in.
Yeah, there's always those famous tweets out there from the anti-vaxxers that were like, so what is a natural way to make it so that my kid can't get measles, if I don't... And it's just like, come on, dude. It's like, it's there. It's there.
It's just so dumb.
Oh, yeah,
anyway, that happened.
You saw a burning car on the way to Vegas as well, so...
I did see a burning car.
So there was the fires as well, so, all the signs of the apocalypse are coming true here.
It was a burning UPS truck, yeah. The person who was driving the truck, we saw, just like in the video, I think you can actually see that they just detached the burning part, and so the trailer is on fire and the cab itself is fine.
Right, okay.
Yeah, anyway, that was weird. And then the other community news I have is that I went to a weekly Street Fighter V tournament at Game Realm instead of going to the Tuesday show last week because you were gone.
Oh.
Every Tuesday night. And
where's that at?
That's at Game Realms in Burbank.
Okay.
Which for me was like 15, 20 minutes.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Where I live. So that was awesome, actually. I had a really good time.
Did you play?
Friends there. I played. I entered, yeah.
How'd you do?
I started out 2-0.
From DQs?
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, the way you were smiling looked like there was like a joke about it afterwards.
No, I just ended up going 2-2. That's all.
Oh,
so
okay.
I went 2-0 and then I lost. It was good though. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Learned some stuff. Met the owner there. Will, really nice guy. Commander Jesse doing the stream.
Right.
He and Azad were doing a lot of the sort of organizing aspect of it, which is cool. Yeah, that was
nice.
Great.
Good job. Who did you use?
To be able to go out and play again. What was that?
Who did you use?
Who did I use? I used Honda and Give.
Oh, okay.
I used mostly Honda. in part because the guy who ended up eliminating me was a birdie player, and so I was just like, I probably shouldn't play Zangief. I should just try to learn this as
right.
Honda.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It didn't go well. Whatever. I haven't played against a solid birdie until that point. But it was a lot of fun, and I played on stream and stuff, and that was fun. And I won one, and I lost one on stream. Cool.
Nice.
Shout out to the tournaments. I'm going again. That was my New Year's resolution, and it took me like half the year to feel like I was solid enough in execution.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
And now, in the last month, I've been to one for Mortal and one for Street Fighter.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
The stream is just Commander Jesse's stream.
Yeah.
I think Commander Jesse. I think it's just his name.
CMDR Jesse, or is it?
Maybe.
It might be CMDR Jesse. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, cool. That's all the community news you have?
You're right, actually, it's CMDR Jesse. Yeah. Also, Level Up announced that Electric Cancel is coming back, which was a Tekken tournament from 10,000 years ago. And it has resurfaced, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I haven't watched the Core Gaming video yet either. I have not watched that one, so I can't comment on it. But Core Gaming has come out with a new video, which you should absolutely watch. Not just because he makes great content, not just because Gerald is an awesome guy, but also because Gerald is the #1 Punch Planet player in the world. So
right.
You gotta watch the video for that reason alone. So
there was one more thing I wanted to mention in game news that I forgot. Can you please put onto the stream the links in the second bullet point under game news?
Let's see. Second bullet
in our little run of show.
Under game news. Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, are these Twitter links? Oh, they are
Twitter links. Yeah, they're just Twitter videos. Yeah.
Okay. And you want me to try to play them on stream here?
Please do.
Okay. All right, let's see if I can do this here. What I'm going to try to do here is block your face with this here.
Okay, sure.
Let me see if it comes up like this. Okay, so I have this video here.
Cool.
It says, "Yo, it's so bad I cannot."
You just have to have the audio has to be on. That is the key importance here.
You seem confident.
Ling Kuei fight flawlessly.
Now you seem overconfident.
Wow! Hang on.
Yeah, I think you gotta volumize it a bit.
You seem confident.
Ling Kuei fight flawlessly.
Now
I can't even hear what he's saying. What is he even trying to say? Can you guys hear it on? Can you guys hear it?
He's saying the Lin Kuei fight flawlessly.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear it at all in the stream? Because I can barely hear it because I don't want to make it too loud for people. Oh, so they can hear it. Okay. Well, let me do.
It's really low on my end for sure.
Right,
I can barely hear it.
Up. Let me turn it much higher then.
You seem confident.
Ling Kuei fight flawlessly.
Okay, all right. That's actually not the worst.
Right,
one.
that's not the worst one, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see if I can get this other one over here onto the stream for you guys. All right, here's the other one.
It's like looking in a mirror.
I see only my cracked reflection.
Then I'll blind you to end your pain.
It's so great! It's so great! That's so great. Play it again.
It's like looking in a mirror.
I see only my cracked reflection.
Then I'll blind you to end your pain.
Yes! It's so great.
Then I'll blind you to end your pain. Oh
so
my
this is Dimitri Vegas, who is a big electronic music
Hang on.
star.
I gotta hear it one more time.
Sure.
It's like looking in a mirror.
I see only my cracked reflection.
Then I'll blind you to end your pain.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay. I feel like I need to turn that into like sub notices or something like that. Can you change our subscription notices to that? Because I mean it's Sub-Zero, right? It's Sub-Zero
I see what you did there. Okay,
yeah,
I like it.
sub notices. So basically, when someone
idea.
subscribes, will be like, "Then I'll blind you to end your pain."
So this is Dimitri Vegas, big electronic music star. He did the Mortal Kombat 11 like movie Mortal Kombat remix.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And along with that, they did a partnership where he is Sub-Zero. So there's a skin where it's just Dimitri Vegas' face and his voice. And when the voice came out, when these were shown, you know what the result is, right? I mean, the community was just aghast. I think that it's hilarious. Here's my headcanon, is that he is probably not a great actor, but that he just went in hard on the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't want to just come out saying like, "Then I'll blind you to end your pain." Right? He got in there and didn't do a good acting job, but did like a very funny read of the line.
Maybe they just put him in there to try to make Ronda Rousey sound that much better or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, he did. I think personally that it's very funny. He hammed it up really well. If I ever play sub, then I would definitely do it with Dimitri. I think that's really funny. But other people in the MK scene, dude. I mean, look, seeing the MK scene like respond to Ed Boon and stuff. It's weird. There's just like a lot of demands that are made in that scene, and among the more casual people, non-competitive people, and yeah, they weren't happy about it. I even saw some responses from voice actors who were kind of miffed that they got this guy who they think kind of made a mockery of their profession. Like, why would they hire this guy? They could have paid a voice actor to do a good job. Well, that's not the point. And if that were happening constantly, that would be bad. But it's not. This is like a one-time thing. It's with a big music star. It's supposed to be a crossover. I personally think that it's really funny.
I do feel bad for the voice acting community because it's something that I've looked into. It's something that I would be interested in doing, and I've talked to voice actors and
yeah, me too. Yeah, I just think that it's not supposed to be like a regular voice acting gig.
Right.
Like if all the characters were voiced by people who were bad at their jobs, that would suck. But it's not, and it shouldn't be that way.
This is not like Fishtail, for example, which is one of the goddamn worst movies I've ever seen, but it's a one-off. It's supposed to be you're buying this because it's this guy, right? So it's not like the whole game is done this way, so it's not like it's crazy.
I mean, if anything, the Rousey situation is, I feel like, more of an affront to people, because she was trying to voice act. She just is bad at it. And it's not Ronda Rousey, right? It's supposed to be Sonya. She's acting as Sonya. Whereas it's Dimitri Vegas. Like there it is. Like looks like. So I think it's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it in terms of all the news that I have.
Well, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Teppen.
Teppen! I've been playing it a lot. I finally began playing against humans. So when the game came out, or I don't know when it came out even, but when people started talking about it, a few weeks ago, I picked it up, and I have been playing against the computer. So I did all of the single-player content, all the little chronicles, the story stuff. I did all of that, and I thought it was really fun. Cool idea. But it wasn't until Friday that I started playing against people, and I did it on stream, and it was great, man. It's really cool to have people help me out on stream in terms of picking an initial deck, which was Wesker for me, a Wesker Revenge deck, and that was a lot of fun. I then, over the weekend, made a Chun-Li Yawn deck that I've been having a really fun time with too. And then this morning, I was playing on stream and got up to A5, and I beat the 9th ranked player on the internet.
That's
as my
so
very
crazy.
first match versus anybody in A tier.
That's so crazy. What rank was he?
He was 9th ranked.
But I mean, like, what's his what was he, A1 or something? Or
it doesn't even say that. It doesn't even say. It just says he's ranked 9, and then like his score, his like current points.
Jesus.
He's ascended beyond the A.
Dang. Okay, so what's the basis of your deck? Are you doing mostly shield stuff, or are you doing attack boost stuff?
I'm doing... So the point of Chun-Li Yan is to ramp up the MPs.
Right, exactly.
Right? So if you haven't played this game, each character, each hero, or whatever, has supers, and you build up those supers by putting your cards out, and it requires so many cards value to come out before you get a super, yada yada. For Chun-Li, one of hers is that she has what's called Yawn, and when she yawns, when you have enough of the MP, she places a counter on one of your units, and when that unit dies, you then get 4 MP back. And it's only 15 MP for a Yawn, and that means that you get to put out more cards, which helps you get another Yawn faster. So you're just going fast. You're like playing fast.
Right.
So the cards that I have are basically trying to play fast. Like there are some other cards that help you boost your rate of gaining MP. I have those. I do have some shields. I have some big units.
Yeah, the interesting thing about...
I have the ability to like... What?
Oh, no, I was about to say, the interesting is I have a Yawn deck as well. And that Yawn deck has done really well. I have a little bit problem against flying decks. And then I also kind of remember that I had trouble against X health decks. But the problem with it is that there's just not a lot of X's out there at the higher levels. Because X doesn't beat a lot of other characters. And so that actually, at the highest levels, I feel like, yeah, you'll probably not run into a lot of X decks.
It's been a while since I've seen a good X, yeah. Or at least not often. But what I do against the people... So purple is a really good color, I guess.
That's my deck. I'm using a Morrigan deck right now.
So in those decks, when you build up one unit to be super strong, that was really causing me problems. But what people recommended that I do, and it was helpful, was to use a couple of different things. One is the unit that green has, which it has a seal on it.
Yeah, Mega
so it's
Man
a counter
seal.
spell, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did say big units, and that's really useful against those. And then the ability to have what's called, I think, Dream of Restorations, which makes it so that you can remove one of your own cards from the field and then put it back into your hand, and you also give your hero 7 life. That's a way to postpone, or it's a way to put out a different character that's more suited to dealing with whatever the ramped up character is. There's a couple cards that let you deal damage based on your unit's health or defense HP.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I've been using a Morrigan deck. So the highest I've gotten to is C1. So I've been kind of stuck there for a little bit. Mostly just because the Morrigan deck is kind of a little bit more RNG unfriendly. Because literally the Morrigan deck is... so you have action cards and unit cards. The unit cards are the actual soldiers who do damage. Action cards are like magic spells. Well, the way to build a proper Morrigan deck is actually by... Most decks are going to have you have 30 cards maximum, and most decks are going to build about 20 unit cards and 10 action cards. But the Morrigan Resonate decks, every time you play an action card, it buffs characters with Resonate, units with Resonate. And so you just basically put one unit down and then action card, action card, action card, action card, action card, all day until they become the most stupidly powerful thing on the planet. And the problem is, if you don't end up with any units in your initial draws, you're kind of stuck. And then, plus another thing too is she gets hard countered by Ryu, who is a very common deck. You run into a lot of Ryus, I feel like, because he's the very most basic deck, and he's easy to get into C ranks with. And so I run into a lot of Ryus, and so I keep bouncing up and down in C1 right now. Yeah. But it's a fun game. It's a really, really fun game.
It's a lot of fun. I love the speed of it, man. It's very fast. Like an individual game, it's fast a couple ways, right? Individual game lasts 2 minutes,
Yeah.
4 minutes. I don't know. I mean, it's short, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not long at all, and the rate of decision making is also very fast. Like you have to move.
He's
move,
going
move.
again.
Oh, yeah.
He's going again. He's reaching for the door. Oh, dang, he gave up.
Bummer.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I made a Rathalos fly deck specifically just to see how far I can get with that. But the Morrigan decks are just fun. It's so brutal because you basically build a deck with everything halts everything, and then you can murder everybody else's card with her art. So I use her Darkness Illusion, which just kills decks that kills any unit that is halted. So basically, I'm just halting the opponent 100% of the time. They can never move, and then as soon as I build up the AP for it, I just murder everybody, and it's pretty fun. But like I said, she gets killed by RNG pretty badly. So I was gonna try my Rathalos deck and see if I could actually get far with that into further higher ranks. So, but game, and it's so funny too because I actually played another Morrigan that had like almost the exact same deck as I did, and it was literally the worst fight ever. Like because we have action cards and everything, so the entire game is gong pause, back and forth. I put out a card, he murders it with Darkness Illusion. He puts out a card, I murder it with Darkness Illusion. And we got to the point where we both had 0 cards and he just had 1 unit left. And so his 1 unit was literally on the screen while nobody else had anything. And I just sat there and watched him kill me with that.
Yeah, I've been there. You can just surrender. There's a surrender.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for it.
Yeah. I actually let that one run down because I just thought it was so funny. I was like, all right, fair enough. So there you go. But, I mean, honestly, the game is really fun. I mean, obviously, the things that bother me about CCGs, that the reason why I never got into them still bother me here, then that the RNGs are annoying. I saw you even tweet that you would like a mulligan option or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is something I would like, but I don't know. I feel like it's much less random than Hearthstone, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, my Rathalos deck...
I would say it's not as RNG heavy as some games that I play.
My Rathalos deck is dangerous because all of my action cards only target my own units. So literally, if I start the game with 5 action cards, I'm dead. Like, I literally can't do anything.
That's probably something to change.
Yeah, so I have to tweak. This is a new deck, so I have to tweak it and figure out what to do. But even still, like, I have 10 action cards in there, and even if I change it to like 6 and 4, like, and if I run into that situation, I'm basically dead. So.
But yeah, I mean, you can design your deck to minimize the chance of getting hand locked at the start. So I do think that there's skill in that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get screwed for sure.
And then the other thing about card games, of course, it's always going to be weird is the fact that you can get counterpicked so easily. What was interesting is that, this weekend I got to hang out with Donka a lot, right? Who obviously loves card games and he loves Teppen and he's championship pro Hearthstone player Donka, right? Yeah. And he was talking about a lot, and he's saying that, that happens in a lot of card games. And in fact, to the point where, like, some of the original Hearthstone tournament rules where you had to win with 3 different characters and stuff like that, just to kind of have more of a matchup kind of a thing. And so, it would be cool because the ranks are so fast, ranked events are so fast, if they did do a 2 out of 3 where you can change decks. I think that would be kind of neat.
Yeah, I think that would be cool to have some counter picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I feel that the game does a good job at making it so that you can find strategic solutions.
Yeah.
And what I like too is the speed of it means that you have to think preemptively in a way that I feel like doesn't exist in Hearthstone. Obviously, you have to think preemptively regardless in strategic games. But what I mean, like, is in the actual instant in Hearthstone, you're just waiting, and then you do your thing.
Right.
But in this one, it's constant. You're firing. So there's a lot of situations where you're better off, like, you have to hold on to a card. Have you noticed, if you want to place the unit somewhere, and then the opponent activates their action phase. If you continue to hold the unit out there, then you can still keep it hovering over the little spot and just let it go as soon as the action phase is over.
Right.
But if you let go of the unit before the action phase is over, it gets back down to your hand, and then you have to drag it up again after the action phase is over. So that takes time. And there are situations where people will often do their action phase like right before the attack actually giving you very little time, right? So if you already have your like little dude lined up to be right in the exact right spot, then you can counter what they're countering, but you have to think about that.
Right,
You have to already have that in mind. I really like that stuff. That's super, super cool.
Interesting.
And there's even like an executional element to it, which, you know, is obviously not my favorite point of fighting games, but it's cool to have that in a card game where you could, because of the speed required, you could screw it up. And I've screwed it up, and I've played against people who have clearly screwed it up, where they obviously mean to kill one of my units and they just get it wrong. Right?
Yeah, I've had that happen to me when I've had a unit halted. Right, like I play a card and halt a unit, and then the other one is like at the bottom of the hourglass, and I need to activate Darkness Illusion, and so after I play it, I'm just like going sorry, just to play Darkness Illusion as fast, and I've messed it up. Like I've missed it, and I've definitely lost matches because of that. So
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the game is super fun.
I think it's awesome. I was talking about this when I streamed it earlier this morning, but the Teppen people have actually given us some streaming equipment. I have the streaming equipment in this bag right here, and it was supposed to have gone over to James tonight, but obviously that didn't happen, so my bad.
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, thanks to them for that. I think that's really nice. They actually have not had to give me any like codes for cards because since I beat all of the first player content, single player stuff, I actually just got like all the cards that I needed anyway.
I'm sitting on 12 tickets to draw right now, and I'm just leaving them alone. I
had 100 tickets. I had a ton of tickets.
Yeah, I've spent a bunch of them.
Single player content, which gives you packs each time.
Although
it's not really free play to win kind of situation.
I've been heard it's recommended not to spend like the Zenny yet, not to spend a lot of stuff. Just save it because new cards are coming. So just wait till the new cards come, and then you can kind of go to town there and stuff like that.
But your tickets are only for this.
Yes.
So spend them.
So, well, I'm waiting for new cards to see, so the tickets...
No, I mean, like, those tickets are only good on this current...
Oh, really?
The tickets.
Oh, I did not know that.
The Zenny you can spend on anything.
Right. I did not know about that about the tickets. So even if the new cards come out, the tickets that I have won't work on that, huh? Then I'm going to spend them now then. What am I sitting on them for? Okay, cool. And I don't know why people would think it's natural that I play Morrigan. That seems weird to me. I never played Morrigan in any other games except for CVS 1, so I fell on that deck because I was testing it out and it was winning a lot. And then to get to the C ranks, you murder everybody.
Dude, nobody knows how to play the game until you get to C the ranks. Yeah, that was my experience too.
Okay.
I think I lost once between when I began playing and when I got to see.
Yeah.
But once you start playing against people who know the strategy, it's really, really fun.
Yeah, and actually a lot of people are really good at countering the Morrigan deck too, because I think that's one of the ones that you really just have to plan for. Because if you've never fought one and you don't know what's going, that's why like I told you before the stream started that I have never had this many surrenders. Using the Ryu deck and the Chun-Li deck and the Wesker deck that I had. But this Morrigan deck is just like at some point in time I have a hasted flying, Ibuki who's at like 15 and 13, and like there's nothing they can do to that because they didn't have a way to destroy that card. And so literally they're sitting here with like 23 health, and then they're just like surrender because they just know that there's nothing they can do. So it's really entertaining, the variety that they came up with. That the different strategies and everything all work in the same game. It's really fascinating. So
I agree, man. I'm really enjoying it so far.
Okay.
So I figure that now that I'm the 9th best Teppen player in the world, that I should probably start going out to tournaments for it.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like Donka as well, right? So I'm awaiting your Evo, commentator picture next year of you just being like
Okay, all right, yeah, I get the reference.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I figure I could basically be like Artosis, who did super well in I think the very first Hearthstone tournament, or certainly one of the where he like wasn't expected to do that great, but but he did. Did he win it? I feel like he won it. If you remember, I just remember him doing really well.
I don't remember now at this point, so
It was really early, and he did really well. So you know what? I'll pull my own Artosis here.
let's do it. I want to see it happen, and I'll
He
be
did win it. Yeah,
commentating
there you
your
go.
match, David, and I'll try not to be biased. There you go.
yeah.
I'll be like, "Let's go, David!" The whole entire time. So.
Totally.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to say about Teppen?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, I just want to talk a little bit also about the army trip that I just had.
Uh-huh.
We went to Bavaria, Nuremberg. There's an army base in Nuremberg in Germany. But what was really interesting was, I'm not sure how this happened. It was probably just the cheapest tickets that they could find. We flew out mad early. I literally flew... My first airplane was on Tuesday morning at like 8 a.m. in the morning. And basically took me 4 airplanes to get to Germany. And by the time we got there, I had traveled for almost like 24 hours or so. It was just it was a long day, but man, like because Hanzo and Tenno have like all these benefits and stuff, we got like some swanky seats on like for the long flight. So It wasn't that bad actually.
Okay.
The flight wasn't too bad, but the cool part about it was since we got to go so early, this was like one of the only trips that I've traveled on that I felt like I've had time to do stuff. And one of the coolest things about it is that, so again, I know a lot of people are very anti, army recruitment tactics, all this other stuff about it. What I've noticed about these army trips that we're taking a lot of times is there's no recruitment talk at all in these army trips. It's all run by the morale, welfare, and recreation team. They've never pressured us to talk about. They don't care if we talk about these kind of things, and so it's a lot of fun. I have a good time on these things, and the soldiers all seem to have a really good time on it. So hopefully,
I'm down with that part of it.
yeah, exactly. So I'm cool with that. But one of the MWR guys who entertains, he says that they get magicians, they get comedians, they get musicians and stuff like that. So we were just another one of those guys who were showing up to do stuff for the army over there. But one of the guys, a dude named Tim, shout outs to him, because he probably does this a lot or something, but he just basically played our tour guide the whole entire time.
Okay.
So like he took us to this great place. It was an Irish pub for dinner, because it was one of the only places open that day because it was like a holiday. So we went there, and I had the best shepherd's pie I've probably ever had in my entire life.
Okay.
Super good. But then the next day, Danka really wanted to go check out Fossenberg, which is one of the concentration camps that was in the area.
Oh, shout out to Mike.
So we actually went there, and we got to check that out. And, it's... I mean, let me tell you, the whole entire time I was there, like, I just did not feel comfortable at all.
That's what you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, literally, we got to see, like, the furnace. You know what I mean? Like, there was literally a slide built in from the top where they just slid the bodies down to the furnace area. And there's this giant mound, which now has been turned into a monument, that basically the ashes of the people that were burned were just kind of like buried and piled there and stuff. And it was like, you read about all the crazy things that they did over there, and it's really kind of like, I hate to say it this way, but it's topical, because like, I'm sitting here reading about what they're doing to the prisoners and the way that they just didn't treat them like people, and how the people were made, the people who worked there were made to feel like okay with it and stuff like that. And I just keep thinking about all immigration jails and, you know, the stuff that's going on over here in the States. And it's like,
Totally.
you want to go to Fossenberg and be like, this is terrible. And like you read about what they do in schools too. Like they literally, like this is, they're like, we're from America. Our history books are all like, America is great. America, you know, we did all these things. In Germany, it's like, we were terrible. Like, look at this crazy stuff. We never want to do this again. Here's this concentration camp. It's a terrible concentration camp. And, you know, thinking about growing up in that kind of environment is really interesting because it's so different. And I know people hate it when we get political on our show and everything like that, but, you know, you can't help it. You got to talk about it. But, like, to know that we're kind of doing very similar things right now in the States while looking at this and be like, I'm supposed to be like, man, this is awful. Like, you know, this people should never repeat this kind of thing again. And it's kind of happening again. And it's like, it's really frustrating. And it's like, it's painful. You know, you can't help when you're sitting there reading about the conditions that the prisoners had not to think about the conditions that our current prisoners have. You know what I mean? The immigrants and stuff like that.
I'm glad that you are thinking about that because there is obviously a parallel there.
Right.
And in some ways, I'm jealous of the education that at least some people in Germany get where they take their history seriously.
Mm-hmm.
In the U.S., we do not do that. We have a very bloody history.
Yeah.
This continent was populated and we depopulated it intentionally. We had one of the worst systems of totalitarian government in world history, which was chattel slavery. And we, even after that ended for another 100 years, had, you know, basically a authoritarian oligarchy in the South and at a minimum, and gross inequality everywhere else as well. We don't talk about that stuff in the way we should. I feel that if it was painted in that negative a light, rather than as, oh, the old South, you know, oh man, Gone with the Wind, what a quaint, pleasant time. If we took that history seriously, I feel like at least more people would take the present seriously as well. Yeah. I don't know that everybody would. Because even in Germany and other places, there's people who are still apologists for that stuff.
Right. I mean,
but more people would.
Even our tour guide, Tim, he was from California. And he says he visited a bunch of the Japanese internment camps in California. And he's like, he recommended me to go check those out if we could, you know. But I mean, you know, obviously that's kind of like the little dark period that we had when we were over there. But outside of that, I mean, like Nuremberg.
I'm really glad that you guys did that.
What's
that?
that?
I think that's important to do. I'm really glad that you did that.
Yeah.
When I studied in Paris, I also traveled to Bavaria and I went to Dachau actually instead, and that was really important. I'm really glad that I did that.
I mean, when Donka said that he was going to do it, some people were like, I can't do it. Like, I couldn't handle it emotionally. And I almost kind of was there, because you know how I am. I get super emotional with everything. But I was like, no, I have to go see this. Like, I just told myself this is something I need to see. So we managed to do that.
I'm glad that you guys did that, not just for yourself, but for Mike as well, who I'm sure has feelings about it as a Jew. But my friends when I studied abroad, they did not want to go, and they did not go.
Right.
So I went to Dachau by myself, and I wish that hadn't been the case, but
it was
nobody else wanted to do it.
It's very eye-opening, and it's crazy too, because that museum, like, and Tim said the exact same thing. He was like, I don't want to say it this way because it sounds weird, but that museum is really cool. It's really well put together. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they have audio recordings that you just pick up these little, like, portable speakers on a stick that you hold up to your ear, and you literally just listen to, like, some of the prisoners. Like, one I listened to was they were all taken into a barn. All these women were taken into a barn literally to be marched to their death the next morning. She was so weak that she passed out amongst all these cows, and, like, they just missed her. She woke up and everybody was gone, and she was like, what the hell? And so she actually exited the barn and tried to get to a city and, like, walked along these train tracks for like 2 days. It took her 2 days to get a distance that anybody else would have taken 2 hours to do, because she was just so weak. And it was just hearing it as a first-hand account from this girl who actually went through that. You know, it's just, it was so interesting, and you just saw so many, like, just how it was, and it's weird too because, by the way, the weather was beautiful while we were there. It was just absolutely beautiful. It was like it was like 70 degrees. It was breezy. It was sunny, and it was wonderful. And it was one of the interesting things that Tim was saying to me. He was like, "It's funny because you don't imagine this kind of weather when you picture these concentration camps, but they probably had days like this where it's just beautiful weather. But like when you picture them, it's gray, it's dark, and it's terrible."
Yeah, a lot of the media in the U.S., I mean, and well-meaning stuff too, paints things like Germany during that time, or Eastern Europe during the time of communism, as being dark. Not just figuratively, but like it's literally dark all the time.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're beautiful places all over the world, and including in places where gross things have happened.
Dude, some of the pictures that we managed to take in that area, I mean, let me tell you, it's not in the middle of a city. We had to drive through towns, okay? And so one of the things I wanted to add is that Germany, that countryside is beautiful, okay? It is amazing. Like, it was one of the first times I was like, I could live here and not be a city, because you know me, I'm a city boy. Like, I want to live in a city pretty much for the rest of my life. But this was the first time that I just saw this, and I was like, the sky was so blue, the grass was so green, there were so many trees, and I was just like, I feel like some of the pictures I was taking were like from video games. Like, they just didn't look real to me. Like, it just looked like an artist was depicting it. And it wasn't even just like you're driving through here and everything is like a lot of the buildings, the houses were brand new. Germany embraces solar panels like you can't even imagine. So like even in these small towns, every building just had solar panels like everywhere and stuff like that. It's not like it's just like you're in the backwoods and there's no technology. Like it's really nice. And like I said, the weather at the time was just immaculate. So it just made it seem that much nicer. And afterwards we went to go see some gilded warriors, like in a museum in a church, that were skeletons dressed in like these armor and stuff like that. It was closed, unfortunately, so we didn't get a chance to see it, but still, we had gotten to a point in the town where actually a lot of people couldn't speak a lot of English. One of the things about Europe is that they speak English in most places that you go to in the major city. It's not as hard to go through the major cities. At least they said that's the case in Germany as well. But like we went to a restaurant to go get some bratwurst, like some like real authentic bratwurst, and sure enough, the waitress there couldn't speak any English, and it was actually the old manager who could actually speak some English, which was actually kind of funny. But we had some, and it was like the best bratwurst, best sauerkraut that I've ever had. Like we had like a bunch of schnitzel, we had like cordon bleu, and like we ate. I must have gained like 15 pounds when I was over there, dude. The food there was amazing, and like I said, it was also really cool because it was Yipes and Donka, and obviously Donka said this is the first time he's ever been to Europe, and this is the first time he's ever been to his motherland, and it's funny because every time anyone's saying thank you to everybody, it just was weird because obviously his name is Donka.
Yeah.
But apparently it was Yipes' first time to Europe as well, so
cool.
It was just really cool
awesome,
to be out there. We had a lot of fun there, and we got to see that the next day. What did we do the next day? Because we didn't have to work again right away. I can't remember now, but yeah, we got to do a lot of cool things there. And then not only that, but the flight home, although Yipes went on a different plane, me, Hanzo, and Donka had the same flight. Our connections were through Warsaw, so we had to go through Poland. And on the way back, we landed at night, but then we didn't fly out until the afternoon the next day.
Oh, this was the same thing that my flight from Vienna through Warsaw could have been. We had the choice to stay in Warsaw for 20 hours or to stay in Warsaw for a layover of 40 minutes.
Oh,
so we chose to risk it on 40 minutes to stay in Vienna.
Oh, you did?
We did. It
Dang.
worked out, yeah.
I did not get any currywurst kaboom kid. I did not get a chance to try that. So, but we did the layover. So actually, it's weird. I got so much sleep this weekend because I was just like jet lagged, and every day I was like, I'm going to bed early. I'm going to bed early. So you know me, whenever we travel somewhere, you're like, I'm going to wake up at 7. I'm going to go check out these cool museums, and I'm like, have fun, David. And I just sleep. On Monday morning, on the day of our flight, I woke up at like 7 or 8 in the morning, and I was just up. And I was like, huh. So we all just checked out of the hotel. Hanzo found an Uber, drove us to the middle of the city, and we just got out and just hung out. Nice. And so I actually got to see a lot of like Poland, Warsaw as well.
That's awesome.
It was really, really cool. And, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, when you're in California, you're like, yo, check out this old building. It's like 20 years old.
I know this.
You know, and then when you're in when you're in these countries, and the crazy thing is, like, it's tough because you see these old churches, you see these old buildings, you take a picture of them, and it's really kind of a disservice because the church is like connected to this super modern building. You know what I mean? And like this is connected to, and it's really a blend. But when you take the pictures, you kind of do it a disservice. It's like, oh, all of this country is that way, but it's really this really kind of beautiful mishmash between them. Even when we were in Germany, that's right, we also got to visit like a market area and square, and we went into a shop where they had all the homemade cuckoo clocks and like the little wind toys and stuff like that. And like, oh, those cuckoo clocks are immaculate, by the way.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. And it was cool. Like for me, you know, when I was growing up, I never wanted to travel. I just didn't care about traveling. But like the older I've gotten, the more I've traveled now. It's so cool to see all this stuff because one, it's weird because when you travel to these other countries, you realize how different everybody is. And yet you realize how much everybody is the same.
You're right.
Like it's the weirdest contradiction, but it's true because you go to these places, you see what their culture is like, and their culture is really different. But then once you get past that, you find out that all of their gaming nerds are the same. You find out that all of the, you know, like literally Tim took us to his favorite board game shop, geek shop.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was closed, unfortunately. Everything was closed in Germany. I don't know why. But like, he took us to that shop, and he also told us like Warhammer is like the biggest thing. We walked past a Warhammer store. Like it's just there for the tabletop Warhammer game. And that's where he goes to, and that's where he plays all the time and stuff like that. And it's really, really cool. Like I said, when we went to Kuwait, we see the cosplayers there, like dressed up as, you know, you would think you're in Kuwait. They can't dress up in some of those cosplays. Doesn't matter. They don't care, right? And it's geek culture is geek culture, you know? And so like you go to these other countries, you just see how different it is, and then you find out how much everybody is just the same. You know, and
I agree with the spirit of the CPT who said that I wish every country had major student exchange programs because traveling abroad really opens up your mind to new ideas.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not many people actually can do it. That's true. I mean, for me, it was huge. It was definitely a life-changing experience to do study abroad in Paris when I was in college. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was a big... So... I was very shy before that, and it was hard for me to branch out and meet people and that kind of thing. And when I forced myself to be in Paris by myself and meet people and speak French, which was embarrassing, even though I had been learning it for like 3 years, that really, it was important for me, and it was important for me to learn new things about other people, for sure. Yeah. Hugely important.
I've got a ton of photos. I promised myself that I wasn't going to slack on them. I'll get them onto my Instagram this time. So... I'm planning probably to spend a good day tomorrow just putting up all my photos on Instagram and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to happen. So keep an eye on Instagram.com/jchensor. I'm going to try to get those out there. On Twitter, I'll probably put like a few pictures and then just link to the Instagram that way. Because it's just so hard putting it on both platforms. It's annoying. I freaking hate it. But, you know, but definitely keep an eye on that because I'm planning to put up a bunch of pictures. God, like some of these pictures that we have are just so beautiful. I can't even express to you how pretty some of these locales were. And Yipe's got a couple of pictures that are 100% going to be album covers for himself in the future. So
cool.
It's really cool.
One of my favorite places to go to the whole time I was there. So when I was in Paris, 2004, even mine, forever ago. We traveled to a bunch of places, and I went to Munich by myself in order to go to Dachau. But I also went to Berlin, and that was one of my favorite trips to the whole time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite cities. Super fun, very interesting, so much history. That was 10 years after the what do they call it? When East and West Germany got back together.
Oh, Berlin Wall went down.
Well, yeah, and then the unification.
Yeah, it was interesting because we actually...
Now that's 15 years in the past that I was even there, so that happened 25 years ago.
Right.
At the time, it was not actually that distant, so there were still some buildings that were not great looking. They were still building up a lot of new stuff, and that was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we actually ran into one of the pieces of the Berlin Wall, so after they split it, they shipped it to all across Germany and even some other parts of Europe so that you could just display them in certain places.
Right.
And yeah, they're basically works of art now. And one of them was there. I got pictures next to that as well. So I'll put that on my Instagram as well. But yeah, I had a absolute wonderful time being out there. Like, it was probably one of the most fun vacations that I've had. And honestly, a lot of it really was helped by, Tim being able to drive us around and everything like that. And just knowing how to get to a lot of places and knowing what to expect. He was the one that helped us get a lot of this good food. I mean, everyone's going to laugh, but I definitely had a lot of sausage in Germany. So it was very good. So, and I just had, I'm looking at some of these photos right now and I'm just like, man, it was really enjoyable. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's true that Gamescom is going on this week, but
yes.
I'm glad that you did the stuff that you did instead of going to something like Gamescom.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Gamescom, but Gamescom is E3, which you've been to.
Right, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
It's just with people speaking German. So it's definitely more important to do stuff like what you did.
I did have a few sips of a few beers. So obviously I don't drink beer. So I was like, I'm totally wasting this trip compared to everybody else. But like everybody, like Hanzo, Danka, Yipes, they all got the beers and everything like that. And I tried some of the beers, and there was one particular beer called the Rattler, and I mean, that was probably the best beer I've ever tasted. Because normally I drink beer and I'm like, this is the grossest thing in the world. Like, that beer was the first beer that I actually drank that I was like, this could probably wean me onto beer if I actually wanted to. Because it was really good. So it was really good. And it was funny too, because even Tim was saying, was like, yeah, you come to Germany, like when you're in America, beer is beer, but when you're in Germany, there's just like every kind of beer possible, and they're all super different. So yeah, it's lemon soda with beer, so that's why I liked it.
What are those called? Shandy?
Maybe, I don't know. But normally, like I said, I can't even drink beer. Yeah. I can't even smell beer. Like, beer it's just disgusting to me. But that one was one of the only ones that I was like, huh, it's not bad. So.
Oh, it's a Rattler. Oh, he said that.
Yeah. Hi.
Which is a synonym for shandy, according to Google.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's both, maybe. But yeah.
All right, man. Well,
I had a great time with that. And
I'm glad you had a good time. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I guess kind of on top of that a little bit too, I tweeted this out last week just because I'm just trying to do some beta testing and I think I'm good with it now, but I'm going to start the FGC locals thing that I did at the end of last year. I'm going to restart that again. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically where I take your local from anywhere and I will restream it on my channel and commentate over it, basically. So last year at the end of the year, I did like Aberdeen, Scotland. I did a Street Fighter tournament for them. I did a bunch of tournaments from Brazil, one from Chile. I did an ARMS tournament from St. Louis. I did a Tekken tournament from somewhere. I can't remember now, but I basically did commentary from all sorts of places. Now, last year I made it a charging kind of thing. I was like, all right, I'll charge you guys a very low amount, but just so I can do it. But this year it's just going to be free. I'm just going to set it up so that anybody can sign up for it, and hopefully I can get sponsors and donations and subscriptions and stuff like that. But what I wanted to do was make an official application process. So sometime either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll throw out the link on my Twitter with the official Google Forms that you can go and apply. because I'm probably going to get a bunch of applications and I'm going to have to sift through them and decide which ones to do and stuff. So I apologize if I skip your event and stuff, but I'm going to see how it goes and see how it works out. And then, like I said, basically you just give me a VOD, I restream it on my channel with my commentary on it, and I promote your scene as much as possible and try to promote your players as much as possible. And so that way you guys can get a glance at what other communities are like. So there you go. So just wanted to announce that. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. We didn't do any of the viewer voting for topics today.
Right.
Just because I figured the show would take a long time because we had a lot to discuss. But we're going to get back to that next week.
Yeah,
so I'll put out the call for topics. We actually still have a lot of topics that we haven't gotten to yet from pre-EVO, I think, or maybe it's post-EVO. So there's a lot of stuff that we already have on deck. But, you know, I'll put out the call again. Let me know if there's anything else you want.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, everybody?
All right.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You got the bird on deck?
Oh, the bird. That's right. Yes. Sorry, I didn't have it all ready to go.
When I studied abroad also in London, and while I was there was the Great British Beer Festival, and let me tell you, almost every category was won by an American beer. Bam! Bird 'em! Bird 'em! Better bird 'em, James.
That sounds terrible, actually.
American beer's the best. Sorry. Hey. Yeah, that's true. That happened.
All right, thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye on this stream and on my stream. I'm gonna hopefully be streaming a lot coming up soon. I say this all the time, but we'll see.